All right. So that was a mess.
Yeah, that was something.
Jumping back into this, for those that are seeing this after the fact, this I guess is going to be a two-part series because Bradley jumped in to let us know that obviously, for those that saw the end of it, he was on the side of the road and everything else, and his account is linked to the StreamYard, so he must have been logged in as like an admin, and he accidentally ended the stream when he jumped out. So we're back. I hope that this is coming through. It looks like I got comments coming through. So let me pull let me pull this back up, and I'll get everybody's comments pulled back up. Sorry about that, guys. I am so like my anxiety is through the freaking roof right now. I hate when stuff does not go the way it's supposed to. Anyways, all right, let's get back into it. It looks like we got about half of our viewers back. I think we're at like 25 people, so hopefully we can get back. But yeah, so let's pick up where we left off as best we can. Chris, I know you were kind of talking about Billy. You were about how you went to his facility to pick up that snake. You ended up being there for about 2 hours, and we'll kind of roll from there.
Yeah, basically, we chatted for a good chunk of time. We grabbed the snake, brought it home. I actually ended up having some issues with it. The snake wasn't eating, some other
Yeah,
stuff. So I kept in like loose contact with Billy, just sort of keep him updated.
sure.
Ended up getting the snake back on food and all that kind of crap. By that time, I had added Billy to Facebook. And one weekend, like I said before, he just had a post saying, "Hey, anybody looking for something to do on a Saturday? Like, we need some extra help.
Yeah,
Well, I'll pay and there'll be pizza and all that kind of crap." And I was like, "I have nothing to do on a Saturday. Like, I'm more than happy to." So yeah, I went in that random Saturday, and here we are. Now, how Nick got involved was some of Billy's older like helpers, I guess,
yeah,
just started not showing up or being really unreliable. And there was one Saturday, Billy texted me really early, like 6:30, like, hey, dude, really sorry, but everybody bailed. This is back before Billy used Coco, so everything was on paper. He's like, everybody bailed. It's just me and you. And I was like, oh, fuck no. Like, no, that is a
yeah,
lot of fucking work. So I just messaged Nick and I was like, hey, buddy, any chance you can come give me a hand today? I know you're not doing anything. I was like, I'll buy you a bottle or something for helping me out, and I'll just take your credit or whatever.
yeah,
And he came and helped me out. And by the end of that shift, he was kind of like, "Oh, this is pretty cool. Like, I kind of like it. Maybe actually I kind of want a snake. Blah blah blah." So he went home. We talked about getting him a snake. He ended up getting a snake. What we think is a butter and Chihuahua female. She hasn't bred for
okay,
us yet, but he just got it off some random dude on our version of Craigslist.
yeah,
And yeah, he loves her. She's an awesome looking animal. Um, but yeah, he just kind of got hooked, and he kept wanting to come back to help Billy out when I went in. And there was one time we were there, and we had been talking about snakes a lot because he was really interested in them at that point.
yeah.
Um, and Billy had not even this this exact 1039 right here. He got it as
Wow.
part of a collection sale, and he uses the 1065s, not like the 5 wide, not the 3 wide. So he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna post it for sale later today." And Nick looked at me and he was like, "Should we get it?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And at that point, we kind of realized we had inadvertently started the Reptile Ward without ever
Yes.
actually like talking about partnering up, and we were just like, it only makes sense. Like, might as well just go full hog. And we started picking some stuff up. What our first ever investment snake's actually going to lay clutch by the end of the month for us. Banana OD Spider Het Clown female. Um, we paid $2,000 for her, which at the time was an outrageous amount of money to me
Oh
for a
yeah.
snake. Um, but yeah, we've had her for almost 4 years, and she's just going to lay her first clutch for me. And she's pretty small; like she's only 1,500 grams now, so she took her sweet ass time. Um, but yeah, it's been a friggin' wild ride. Like I'm amazed at how far we've come as quickly as we have. Now, granted, that's attributed a lot to the fact that we both worked for Billy 2 to 3 days a week for 3 years and
Yeah.
never took a paycheck, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
all that
But
went
that's
into
one of
our
those.
animals. So
Yeah. Well, and that's one of those things. I think that a lot of people don't think about. In the sense of like there are different paths that you can take to success. You know what I mean? And those sorts of investments in time tend to pay off. Um, especially if you're willing to just come in and just do the grunt work. You know what I mean? Like for somebody like Billy or just whoever. That's a lot of people ask like how you can get started or just whatever. And those relationships are important. And I'm
well,
sure that you can attest to that. Obviously, I mean,
a lot of
you guys are.
people, it's really funny. I don't. This is a. It's weird that you bring that up because I don't get to talk about this a lot, and this
Mhm,
is the first time someone's kind of mentioned it. But I
sure.
see a lot of people when somebody suggests getting a mentor, they go,
Mhm.
"Well, how do I do that? What do I
Yeah.
do? I don't know anybody. I didn't know Billy. Just
Right.
offer to go help. Don't expect payment. Don't expect
Yeah.
anything. Just offer to go help.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah. So
around people that have more knowledge than you in the industry. Not only will you pick that knowledge up without asking, there's a lot of um, intricate little ins and outs that they're not things that are ever asked or talked about openly, but you pick up on them while you're just
yeah,
hanging out with somebody that's
it's
been doing
those
this for
little
20
it's those
years.
little those little intricacies of the way that somebody does something that they wouldn't like if you asked Billy about his processes for things, those little details that you notice because you're there and you see him and you're watching him do them, he wouldn't even think to mention those little tiny things that he does a certain way. And that's everything. That's every industry. That's not just with ball pythons, but that's just with everything. So, like for example, like how I got into bartending. People are like, "How do you get into bartending?" Like, I want to do it. It seems like so much fun, and it is. It's literally my favorite job I ever had, and I hate that I'm not able to do it anymore. But it was the same thing. My buddy Z, who I met through, I trained him at the mortgage company I used to work for. I was a mortgage loan
Nice.
originator for a while, and he was a bar manager still, even when he was selling mortgages. And same thing. Like we weren't working together anymore. This was like two or 3 years later. He posted on Facebook, "Hey, I need a bar back for this weekend for Sundays." And I was like, "Hey man, like I got nothing going on. I can use some extra cash." Same thing. So I started doing that, and it's literally grunt work. Like you're cleaning up after people, and you're cleaning up after the bartenders, and just start at the bottom. But all I did the whole time, same thing. I watched the way everybody did everything. I watched and just paid attention and I just soaked it all in like that. I think you strike me like myself, like same thing, like with not being able to remember names. Like, are you more of a visual person? Do you think? Yeah.
I will never forget somebody's face, but I'll forget your name quicker than you tell me.
Yeah, man, and that's my learning style for sure. Like I can read stuff and kind of learn, like picture it, but even then I'm picturing it in my head. I'm just very much more like visual about everything.
Me too, 100%. And the funny thing about that is when I read something, I feel like I try to picture it, and then I get frustrated because I figure I'm not picturing it correctly,
Yeah. So
and
you
then
just have to go
and
do
then I
it
just lose
or
it.
watch
Yeah,
a YouTube video like everybody does now, right? Like that's how I feel like that's how everybody learns everything.
it's
Um
it's it's tough though. YouTube's becoming kind of a double edged sword because as much great information's out there on YouTube, there's a ton of bad information.
so
Um,
that's because it's at the end of the day what a lot of people don't think about. YouTube is like the number two largest search engine in the world after Google, and it's still Google powered. Obviously, it's Google owns it, but it is that's what it is at this point. Is it's a search engine, and I never thought about that until I started posting on YouTube. And you kind of watch videos about like what people say to do for growth and things like that, and I'm like, man, I literally I never thought about it, but I do. I use YouTube as a search engine all the time to just search how to do stuff or search for
Everybody
information for
does.
things. Yeah,
Everybody
and
does. But
I never thought of it from that angle. So it's really interesting. But you're absolutely right because it's the same way with Google. 9 times out of 10, if I want a legitimate answer to something that I'm Googling, which is rare, but when I do, it's hard to freaking find, man, because you got to sift through so much junk.
yeah, there's a lot of bullshit, and
And you got guys like Hardwick.
I
that are
wasn't
just.
gonna say anything directly, but yeah,
I'm not gonna.
that's exactly what I
And
was
we're not gonna
referring
go.
to.
Yeah, and we're not gonna go down that rabbit hole because the guy, I'm not gonna promote him through negativity. But
Makes sense.
just for anybody that sees this after the fact that's looking to learn some stuff, just be very mindful and very careful about the people that you learn from in anything, literally in anything.
And if
Um,
something looks wrong,
mhm.
at least
Go-
question it.
yeah,
At
your
least question it.
instincts.
I'm not saying it is wrong because there's
Yeah.
probably a lot of stuff in every hobby and business that looks wrong and isn't.
Hmm.
But at least question it. If something just even slightly, you're like, like look a little bit harder. That's all. That's
Yeah.
all I ask. Like it's
What's up,
it's
Cusco?
so ridiculous how many.
Cusco says our checks are in the mail for rocking his shirts tonight.
Not gonna talk about apparel with Cusco right now. No, I'm just joking. No, I was, dude. I love this shirt. His shirts are so damn comfortable.
They are.
I wish I had 10 of these.
Dude, I know. I need to get another one. And I don't know if there's still the same material or not. Like, but this is like one of my favorite shirts to wear. I probably like when I was bartending, this was literally at least a once a week shirt. It was like this and my shirts from Kabilka. I like the I text Kabilka to ask him like, hey, I need to know the exact model number of these shirts because when I get mine made, that's what I want to use.
Apparently, whatever he uses is not cheap to buy.
No, they're not. They're not. I mean, they're not exorbitantly expensive, but I'll tell you, based on what he charges for them, he's not. I don't think he's making any profit on them, which that's a
No.
very Justin move. To me, I think for marketing stuff, it makes sense to sell at cost or even
Yeah.
a couple bucks below cost if you can afford to do it, depending on your scale. Which is why I haven't done merch yet, in all honesty, because you guys don't have shirts or anything yet, do you?
Don't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do.
Okay.
I have a
It's
box
hard
sitting
though.
there of shirts that never sold. They spent $1,000 on merchandise because a ton of people told me they wanted to buy stuff, hats, different size shirts, tanks.
Yeah.
And I've probably worn more of them than anything else.
Yeah. Well,
I give them away more
well,
than I sell them. I think I've
yeah.
sold 5 out of like 150 shirts we bought, and the rest have just been promotional. So
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of got some bad info there. So the other
It's
really
tough.
really bad part about that is though, screen printing and stuff up here is way more expensive than in the States.
Really?
Yeah, I was talking actually. Corey Martin's in the chat, but I was talking to her, and she told me what she was paying per shirt for what she was getting done. And I was like, "Oh, cool! I pay 5 times that amount.
Wow.
5 times! Like
That's
insane.
crazy.
Yeah,
I'd be curious to know why. You know what I mean?
I have no clue. Like I literally joked about her getting my shirt made at her
the
place she
and mailing
uses, and just
mailing it to you.
having or had because she wants one. Because
Yeah.
when she came up, I didn't get the size she needed. Unfortunately, my supplier couldn't get me the size, so I was like, "I'm just gonna send you my logo. You can get it made. I'll send you the money for it." Like I don't even care. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's really tough, man. Yeah, because I've done the same thing. I've looked into getting some screen printing done, and I even had Philip of PD's Reptiles. He mentioned he's going to get me some shirts. He wants to make me some, just like as a promo, because he may be starting a t-shirt business. So shout out to Philip, which is great. That's awesome. But same thing. I'm like, okay, well, but I want to make sure that I get the right shirts for you to print on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even if he's going to do the printing for me for free as just a promo, like, which is awesome. I really can't thank him enough for even offering to do that. I mean, that's tremendous. But same thing, I'm particular about my quality because I know a lot of people have switched to doing the drop shipping for merch.
No, I just need
and which is all print on demand, which is great. Like I love that that's an option, and I think it's awesome. It just it for somebody like me that's very type A, it stresses me out to not be able to see the quality of something that's going to a customer.
See, the cool thing is, and I was in your same boat for a long time, but the company that Billy's now using, and actually we started using it first, but we just didn't start a store yet. The cool thing about them is they give you like a promo shirt once every 3 months or something like that.
Oh, okay, so to show you the standard,
or to send to somebody else. So if you have You know what I mean? If you ever somebody that's looking for something a little better quality or something like that, you can be like,
Yeah.
hey, here's this shirt with a discount code. It cost me half the price it should have. My lovely wife just brought me a beer, so
That's a beautiful thing.
hello.
Beer assistant.
She's wonderful. Thanks, babe.
I love
Love
it.
you too.
I don't have a beer assistant, so I have this. I have a little mini cooler.
That's a way better idea than I had. I was just hoping to have a break to run to the fridge.
Well, this is the first time I'm using that. It holds 5 beers. I'm hoping that's going to be a good enough amount to get us through this. I had 2 sitting here already, so
there you go.
7
I think
beers
right.
for this stream. We'll see.
I mean, I had 4 drinks and I was through 2 of them before this even started. So
yeah,
I'm sure I have bourbon. I have lots. I'll manage. What the hell was I just saying?
We were talking about merch, and you were talking about the company you guys are using.
Oh, yeah. So we can talk about it after, but basically they can give you a promo once every X amount of. It might not be 3 months, but basically I got my own made first, and because of how they're set up, it was really cool because I didn't necessarily need to get on that shirt what I was going to put out for a shirt for other people,
right?
So I got it fully customized. I got a different color that I'll probably release. The Reptile Ward, obviously. I got Chris on one arm. I got Ringer Ward on the other arm, and then I got our Instagram on the back.
Nice.
Just
slacking
because,
on the back.
It's just because I could, though, right? Like, I'm not gonna have double sleeve back and front prints when they release, but it'll probably at least be front and back, and I can at least see the quality of the shirt in the print. And it worked out great. I love the shirts. So I'm hoping to stop being lazy at some point and actually open that up. Because weirdly enough, the cost to use that service is actually less than the cost to get than the cost of me buying the shirts, getting them here, and then shipping them out. It costs less for me. So
I believe it. And that's what I've been told. Like, I know Shane drop ships his shirts now. I think Cusco's drop shipping his shirts now through a service. Garrett does his through a service, same thing. So, and it's nice too, because it makes it easier to set up the website and makes the process a little easier for customers, you know.
Who?
Shane, I don't know.
I know Shane.
Yeah.
I know Small Town. Shane's in my Discord, man. Come on.
I was trying to crack a joke on Shane because he's such a promoter. Yeah, Garrett Hartle from Reach Out Reptiles. He's into Super Dwarfs. He made it. So
no.
You know, he's nobody important for you.
I know who he is.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, he couldn't say my name fast enough on his friggin' podcast yesterday.
I still need to check it out. I'm usually pretty good about checking their stuff out as soon as it drops, but I've been working and honestly, like, I like to, when I can, I like to watch the video version. I would love
fair enough.
You know, it just gives me it's less weird, I guess. Like, you know, because like today I was walking around at work. I wouldn't have wanted to be like, you know, it just gives me more context as to what's going on in the conversation. I like to see people's facial expressions and things.
See, I'm the opposite because I drive a lot for work.
Okay.
I'm a project manager for a construction company, so I'm always in my truck. So having something to listen to is great. I was actually texting Cusco yesterday, like, hey, when's the podcast coming out? When's the podcast coming out? When's it going to be out? When's it going to be out? I need something to listen to today.
Yeah. I drove 80 miles today for work.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know how far that is because you're crazy.
Miles to kilometers.
Yeah.
Now. It's probably like 65 or something like that. I don't know. Too many.
Okay.
What's up, Nathan? Hope your back's feeling well, brother. Nathan just had a spinal fusion. For those that don't know, he's a freaking machine. Yeah, and he's right in the middle of breeding some retics, and so his girlfriend has stepped up. Yeah, his girl. Well, they're super dwarfs. So they're not huge, but you know they're still obviously like you can't lift anything. You just had to have screws put in your back. But yeah, so he's like right in the middle of hopefully successfully breeding some pretty amazing super dwarfs, which is great. But his girlfriend's helping him out with it.
I'm not in any position to take on any large snakes right now.
Yeah.
But
man.
I did take on this
dude. That's insane.
Isn't this thing crazy?
Yeah. Holy cow.
It's crazy because it doesn't show up on camera. It shows up on video a little better.
No, I love that.
Yeah, and there's people out here
That
saying
is
stranger and mahogany are the same
amazing.
thing.
Now, what are the specifics of that?
Pastel leopard stranger, possible yellow belly head clown male.
That thing is gorgeous, Chris.
I love it, dude. We made like a 3-hour trip last weekend just to pick it up. We got really lucky because we obviously ended up getting our YouTube video out of it and all that kind of stuff, but that wasn't part of
Yeah,
the plan at all. That was
yeah,
the YouTube video. Weirdly enough, this is how brilliant Nick and I are. YouTube video only happened because we tried to do a live from it from their place the night before,
right.
and the internet in the garage was so bad we couldn't show off animals, and we were like, "How do we do this?" And Nick was like, "We have a YouTube channel," and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Right.
Like,
Yeah. It is funny because like my mentality has changed ever since I started my YouTube channel. You know, like you slowly but surely start to develop that instinct of like, oh crap, I need to pick up my camera. This needs to be filmed. You know, and it gets. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. It's just, you know, I love to like live more in the moment. Like when I went to Arlington, I filmed nothing. And I secretly kind of regret that because I'm like, damn, you know, there's so much stuff I could have shown, and I wish I would have documented it. And this, you can't help but think that way. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm so glad that I took all that in because it was my first NARBC. It was my first time meeting a ton of different people. I'm still pissed I didn't get to meet John Feely. He was there, and we just somehow did not cross paths the whole weekend. I don't know how, but you know, just stuff like that. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. The internet and the social media stuff. Um,
the
like
thing.
last night. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was gonna say the thing that really, really bums me out is last. Oh man, last October Tinley that actually happened was Nick and I's first Tinley.
Yeah.
That's actually where I got the pleasure of meeting Corey Martin and a few other people that I already knew.
Yeah.
But like, I wasn't super well versed in the internet community side of things still.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we had a couple people that we talked to and stuff like that, but nothing crazy. And then after that Tinley, we said, listen, we're never missing another Tinley. That was incredible. We're never missing another one. Like, absolutely not. We're going to be at every single one. And
That's how I feel.
And then since then, we've met so many friggin' people that we would have been able to see at Tinley's, and not a single one's happened since.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I'm at. You know, that Arlington show obviously was in the middle of COVID, and so it was not nearly as big as what it normally would have been. You know, there was a lot of people that maybe normally would have been there that weren't. There was rumors that Barczyk might have shown up, and I was like, man, if he comes, like that'll be huge, you know. But like, I got to finally meet in person Justin Kavilka, which he's another one. He's like Billy. Like I've never met him. You know, I've talked to him on the phone. Like I've talked with him a good bit. You know, whether it's over the phone or through text.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and Miguel, both of them, both the same thing. I'm there and they saw me and they're like, "Oh, Zach, what's up, man?" Like they had known me forever, you know. And it just things like that make you feel good, you know. It just makes you feel appreciated. And I do my damnedest to be the same way, but I respect the hell out of anybody that can remember people's names and especially faces, having never met them, and especially as many people as those guys talk to and see.
Oh yeah.
That just really impressed me, you know. Like I didn't even know how to feel. And Chase was the same way. Like I walked in, it was, "Oh, what's up?" You know, like they knew me right away. I'm just like, man, it was just such a family, you know. And Alyssa from Full Throttle Reptiles, I was there hanging out with them, you know. And it's one of those things. Like as much as I talk on the internet and everything, you know, I'm a little socially awkward, and so I was really glad to have somebody that was there that knew me, you know. Like she was kind of picking me up from the airport. Yeah. And so she introduced me to a lot of people, and man, it felt like family. It really did. It was so cool. Even the people I didn't know, it was cool to me to watch those people interact. Like, was that kind of your experience? Like everybody, even just watching other people interact that you didn't know, like even they kind of talk to each other just like old friends, like old family.
Well, it was really kind of cool because there was a group of us Canadians that went down for that one. So I always had somebody to talk to somewhere. There was probably about 10 of us. I don't think it was planned. We just all sort of ended up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like it was a whole bunch of different experiences all at once. Cause like I got to meet Corey, and then we also got to meet our friends Eric and Jen from Generic Reptiles. I don't know if you know them or follow them.
I don't, but I'll need to. I'll have to. Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Yeah, they have hots and some other stuff. It's Jen Eric, like the names, not generic, like the word. Funny wordplay, haha. But no, I got to meet up with them and Corey, and then we got to run into Reggie from Reggie's Urban Jungle, who I had met a couple times at Billy's, and like I was just very fortunate to have known quite a few people just from sort of association with Billy already. So
Yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't too awkward. It seemed like every 25 feet, somebody at least knew who I was, either through Instagram videos, because obviously the podcast didn't happen, right? So they were just like, "Oh, hey," like, so it was a lot less awkward than I expected, but it was just an overall cool experience. Just seeing something that massive with that much variety.
Yes.
Like our
You're cutting out, Chris. Uh-oh. I see Chris's comments. Whoa, guys. What just happened? All right, guys. Well, it's just me for now. So I'll kind of touch on a little bit about what Chris was saying in terms of just his relationship with Billy. Like, same thing. I think that was kind of the way that I felt. And again, just a big, huge shout out to Alyssa, Full Throttle Reptiles. She was kind of my in, if you will, towards being at Arlington. Like I showed up, I knew literally no one. I knew a couple people that were there and this that, and the other, but I didn't really, like I said, I have a little bit of social anxiety, believe it or not, and so basically the battery ran out on the drill dough. Yeah, we're going to cover that. I promise. At some point, we will have that conversation and talk about that. And Chris's kind of knack for promoting random things. But yeah, Arlington was a blessing for me for sure. Because again, if it wasn't for like people like Alyssa, cause I might not even felt comfortable going out there. Just because again, even though I know a lot of people on the internet, there's not that many people that I know really well. And she invited me out and it was a lot of fun. And so like I said, I was able to meet Miguel and Justin and it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and it was really eye opening to see all those people that obviously work the show circuit together a lot. Just kind of interact together because again, it was just like a big family. Like everybody's wanting to know, like, hey, where are you guys going to dinner tonight? This, that, and the other thing. And like God, I got to meet Tom Harbin. For those that don't know, Alyssa was kind of blessed enough to, I guess, kind of be mentored by Tom, early on in her, sort of career, if you want to call it that, in the hobby. And so Tom was there. They usually share a table at shows that they go to, and so like I'm literally like behind Alyssa's table, hanging out with them and talking to her customers. And Tom is there, right behind me. So and another funny little tidbit was that Tom Harbin is actually an Auburn University vet school grad, and I attended Auburn University. I was a mechanical engineering student there for about 2 years. I didn't finish, long story, but yeah, ended up in sales, and I guess I wouldn't change it. I would have loved to finish that off, but yeah. So Tom and I already kind of had that connection, and obviously I knew of Tom. I knew about his Auburn ties, and so it was a Saturday, when I met him, and so we were talking Auburn football and just kind of going back and forth. But like literally, like got to go out to dinner with Alyssa and everybody, and Tom, and literally sat next to Tom and talked his head off for probably like Paul Alyssa from Full Throttle. Talked to Tom for literally the entire dinner. Like I don't think I specifically, I remember I didn't even eat like 90% of my food because we were just having such a good conversation. Just talking about Ultramel, and obviously again, just for anybody that doesn't know, Tom is like one of the main people involved in the Monarch project. He was one of the first people involved in it in the United States, and in my opinion is one of the best people to talk to in terms of anyone that's interested in Monarch. And so we were just talking about that, and I was kind of getting his thoughts on just anything that he would talk about. And yeah, thanks, Nathan. I'll go ahead and just. But got to talk to him about that. I mean, it's just I cannot even begin to tell you how amazing it was for me to interact with somebody that's been around for as long as he did. Chris did not die. Chris will be back at some point. Let me make sure that he still has the proper link. I don't know if his internet crashed. I'm guessing not, because he was able to send us those messages. Oh, he's here. He's waiting on me to add him to the stream. There we go.
Hello.
All right. Sorry
you're
about
gonna
that,
have
buddy.
to deal with this sort of shitty ass setup.
It's all good, man. No worries.
My phone just died out of nowhere. I had like 75% battery or something. It just turned off.
So, yeah, StreamYard drains it quick.
No. Like, still had 75% when it died. Because I keep checking it because I couldn't. I had my headset plugged in because I couldn't plug in my phone, which I usually try to, but StreamYard seems to screw my phone up. So I kept looking at it, just making sure it wasn't dead.
Yeah.
And then, phone just turned off and wouldn't turn back on. And I was like, oh, that's great.
All good, brother. Glad you're back. Yeah,
I apologize. I'm on my iPhone or iPad now, so this looks a little shittier, and I apologize. But yeah.
No big deal. I mean, it's possible maybe your phone overheated, or who knows. But I was telling them about my experience at my first NARBC, which was Arlington, and how I got to go out to dinner with Tom Harbin and sit next to him and just literally picked his brain like the entire dinner. I didn't even eat my food because it was just you guys know I talk a ton, so it's just one of those things. But yeah, it was just a blast, and like I said, I mean, even this, like, dude, getting to talk to somebody like you that's been doing this for so long is huge. It's absolutely amazing. And especially with the background that you have, because you had such a negative experience initially. So I think it's great that you're now kind of turned the page on that and put it behind you and lean back into this. I think it's just awesome.
It's funny because people assume I keep looking up here. I apologize because my camera.
You're okay. I do the same thing.
Down here. No, it's because I had to flip my iPad upside down just to get like a proper shot here.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to be looking like over, but I'll try to make eye contact.
Yeah, I do the best I can.
So the weird thing is, me and Billy share a lot of the same opinions on a lot of topics. So people just assume that that's because I worked for him or work for him.
Yeah.
Breaking news. I because he's moving, we're not going to be working there as much. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not a big deal to me. He's got everything handled now.
Yeah.
He's got.
Well, and at the end of the day, I think now you guys, it's not even a work relationship. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not necessarily. Don't take this wrong, but you're not necessarily getting anything out of being there outside of just obviously enjoying being around him and enjoying working with his animals and all that. So, I mean, it stinks that you're going to lose that part of it, I guess, is just what I mean. But I think, like the upside for you is, it'll free up some time for you to focus on your stuff and like, your YouTube channel and doing your thing, man. So that's good. It's good and bad.
The thing is, we had kind of been slowly tapering off working for him anyway, because our collection's been growing pretty exponentially. So the time that we usually spend there, I'm now spending here. Like,
yeah,
I've got to be at 20 hours a week, at least in the snake room. And I only have half of my collection. Nick has the other half. So you could just imagine, like, we have a fairly large collection at this point. And if I try to balance working for Billy the way I did before, plus cleaning everything the way it needs to be handled, plus my full-time job, something would suffer. And I wouldn't want that to be my animal. I wouldn't want the one that suffers to be my animals.
Yeah.
Because obviously I care about them, but I also wouldn't want it to be my full-time job, right? Like, I think that's
those two have to be the first priority over anything else, for sure.
But yeah, it's honestly not a big deal. Obviously, always have like mad respect for Billy. I told him anytime he actually needs a hand, call me. We'll be there.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
But his new place is about 20 minutes further away from me than it was before, and that doesn't sound like a lot to most people. But the problem is, he was about, I want to say about a 30-minute drive.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, even if he was only 20 minutes from you already, and it's now 40 or 45 minutes, I mean, that's a significant time sink and a lot of miles.
But if that's all it was, it wouldn't be a big deal. If I was just putting in an extra 10, 15, 20 minutes of drive time.
Yeah.
My problem is I was already driving 20 minutes in the wrong direction to pick Nick up.
Gotcha.
And driving the almost 45 minutes to Billy's. And then I have to drive 45 back and then 20 to my place, right? So now with Billy's being an extra 20 minutes away, we're breaking well over an hour both ways. It's really hard to justify.
Yeah. Well, that's not a reasonable. Yeah. No, that makes sense, man.
So, yeah, I actually totally forgot where I was going with that, but
it's all good. No, so give me an idea, because we were saying just your collection's kind of getting to a point where it's obviously a major time sink, of course. Roughly how many animals do you have? I don't expect an exact figure.
I think Nick has like 80 to 90 at his place, and keep in mind Nick's still fairly new in the hobby. Like, Nick was only confident enough to come in the way he did because I was a part of this. And Nick will tell you this himself. When we first started this, it was like, I had the knowledge and he had a bit of capital to put in, right? So
sure.
I trusted Nick with my life because Nick is one of my best friends. He was before we ever started this. And honestly, I don't know if I could do this with anybody else because our personalities mesh perfectly.
Yeah.
For this exact thing we're doing, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I probably couldn't work. I probably couldn't run a business, or I hate calling it a business, but at the end of the day, people get so hung up on the word hobby. I couldn't run a business if it was any other business with him, only because we're very different in a lot of ways. But this exact hobby lets us both excel at what we're really good at, and it lets us both pick up each other's weaknesses really well. If that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense, because that's literally what Bradley and I talked about when he and I started doing our live streams. Was just like, there's very few people, again, and even just something as simple as making content together, because there's a whole flip side to it of like, he and I each have our own personal channels. We each have our own personal goals in terms of those things, and in terms of what we want to do with our animals, and all that. And so it could get complicated, right? Like even tonight, because he wasn't going to be here, I'm like, you tell me what you want to do, because, if you can't make it and it's not us together, like, do you want me to do the live with Chris on my channel? Like that was an option that I posed. I'm like, do you want me to ask him to do it another time? And same thing, just because it's like, if I didn't know if he would want to be involved. But thankfully, again, Bradley's, he and I are both not like those ego driven people. And he's just like, no, man, he's like, do it on our channel to keep the content consistent, which was my thought. And that's what I told him. I was like, we need to do it on our channel. Like, let me just do it solo, and we'll just, we'll roll with it. And yeah, same thing, there's a lot of people that I wouldn't be able to do that with, just, because egos get involved and things get weird and complicated. I'm going to touch on this just because Duran kind of asked about it. And Duran is so freaking good at asking like deep questions. He was asking, what is something that you and Billy disagree on snake-wise, if anything?
Motley, Stranger. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. He has zero faith in the Motley project, whereas me and Nick.
Okay. Give me a little background on that, because I'm not super familiar with Motley. I've heard, I know of it in terms of retics, but I don't know anything about it in terms of
You're the first person to ask me about it, and we post about it all the time.
So yeah, I know. I would love to hear about it, because I've heard you talk about it. I've heard it thrown out there and mentioned, but I have not had anybody dive into telling me literally anything about it. Outside of the name, I know nothing.
Okay, so I'm going to pull out the Motley Clown in a second.
Okay.
And then I'm going to pull out an offspring from the Motley Clown after that.
Awesome.
Does this
So you
look
guys
a
are
little bit
deep into
better?
it then.
I just adjusted my mic. Is this a little bit better? I don't. It's super messed up.
It's
And
good on my end. Yeah, it's good on my end. I mean, it's there's nothing you can do about it being a little bit echoey, but no, I mean, it's you're clear. Everybody can, or at least I can understand what you're saying. So
that's good. Okay, so we kind of stumbled into the Motley Project by accident.
Yeah.
Just by some stupid chance, Nick and I only had this dude that wasn't even quite ready to breed yet. So I don't know if you're picking this up, but he's a pastel lesser leopard clown.
Okay.
And if you follow us on Instagram, I'm sure you realize that this boy did a lot of work for us this year. He sired a good chunk of our clutches.
So again, you said that was a pastel lesser leopard clown?
Yep. So we bought him as a pastel lesser leopard clown, Posset Pied.
Okay.
He didn't prove out het pied this year. I had 6 eggs. But that's honestly okay. He's got lessers, so I'm not too upset about him not proving out het pied.
Sure.
But at the time, that's all we had. So we were like, shit, we should pick up another decent clown male, just to have sort of as a secondary breeder, in case, you know, we run him too thin, or he stops locking, or he stops eating. It's always good to have a backup, right? So
for sure.
So we're kind of looking around, and we're not going out of our way to throw money at anybody, but I mean, we had our eyes open, right? And then the Chase thing happened.
Right.
So then they throw up the auction, and there's a lot of really, really fucking cool animals in this auction. And, you know, a lot of them are going for like 20-25% more than their value.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
And fucking awesome. I love Chase.
Yeah, which is great. Yeah.
Fantastic that it happened.
Absolutely.
But man, I couldn't afford it at the time. Like
me either. I was able to buy a shirt, and that was it. I couldn't participate in any of the auctions. I just couldn't afford it, you know.
Same. So, well, I shouldn't say any of the auctions, but like,
well, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I don't have an extra $1,000 to pay on top of a $4,000 animal. Like, as much as I love Chase, I don't, and I'm glad other people did.
Yes,
I'm stoked other people did, but unfortunately, I just didn't have the money. So,
absolutely.
Justin, of all people, lists this animal. Where is he? Here he is. Oh, he needs water. Good to know. So he lists this bad boy, and he's in
this a motley clown.
Yeah. So he's in a small tub because his dick just went off food. But this is a motley clown. Look at the weird ass head.
Yeah.
Like a cross on it, and then it's just a weird looking.
Just funky, because you know really they normally like he doesn't have any of those teardrops. That there's one on that side.
One. Yeah. But like just super funky. All the dots along the belly are super pixelated, kind of like a yellow belly pied.
Yeah.
That would look. Very dark for an adult clown.
Yeah.
And just overall, it was just a cool looking animal. And
that's really, really interesting.
Obviously, it was Justin, so Justin had a really nice picture of him too.
Of course.
So he posted him up.
Which always helps.
So he posted him up, and surprise to nobody, I was drinking.
Cheers.
I'm kind of known for that.
Too, that's okay.
So Justin posts him up as part of the auction, and I threw a bit at it, kind of half-ass joking.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, all right, you know what? I've never even heard of this gene, so it's got to be something kind of new, like.
And if it's something in Justin's collection, I'll be honest, like, you know, I'm a lot more willing to invest the money in it. And I think, you know, everyone else in the hobby probably agrees with me. I think that has been shown to be the case. Like, Wookiees have, you know, skyrocketed in price, and redheads have skyrocketed in price.
It wasn't even that. It wasn't even that. It was more just like, okay, you know what? It's a cool looking animal. We need a backup clown. I don't know what this does, but I think that animal looks awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously, Justin's posting it, so he must have saw something, whatever that was.
Well, and that's all I mean. Like, I'm not gonna say like he can sell anything and I'll just blindly buy whatever, but there's at least like this much validation. It's not like if I just, especially like if it was somebody, even if it was another breeder that I did know, like me with Ultramel. I don't expect everybody to buy into Ultramel just because I'm excited about it. It helps, sure,
Yes.
but you know what I mean? Like not everybody out there is going to go out and buy an Ultramel because Nava Reptile says it's great,
But the thing about this one is Justin had never released anything on it, never posted about
Yeah.
it.
That's why I want to talk to you about it, because I've literally never heard one single person talk about Motley ball pythons. Not a clue.
It's really weird. Anyway, I'll finish the first part of the story first, and I'll get into why it's so weird and funky.
Yes, sorry, I apologize.
No, it's totally fine. So basically, I threw a bid at the auction, and I did this on a lot of auctions just to kind of fuck with people because I like fucking with people. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a dick. I don't hide it. I like being a bit of a dick, and
it's okay. That's why we get along.
It is what it is, right? So, I was just sort of egging some auctions on, and I'd throw a bid in just to, see if somebody would pay a little bit more here and there. And I was like, you know what? The bids I was throwing in, if I won the animal, whatever, I'll pay it. Like, but this animal, I was like, okay, that's actually pretty cool. I'm going to put a fairly low bid on it. But I outbid everybody else by about $300. And I think you started the auction at like $600, and I just threw down like I think $1,000 bid on it. And I was like, you know what? If I get it, cool. We have a cool animal, and if not, whatever. Like I just made.
And again, it's a male clown plus one gene from Kabilko, so it's like it's good lineage. You really have nothing to lose at that point.
Yeah, and it was going to a good cause, and it was all this, and also I was really drunk, so
yeah.
I didn't actually think of
every bit of that makes sense.
If I had the money to spend,
right.
But anyway,
details.
Yeah. Anyway, I ended up getting into a bidding war with somebody, but we were only going up by like $5 increments. And the person ended up messaging me, and they were like, "Hey, do you really want that animal?" And I was like, to be completely honest, like, I don't need it. I would like it. It's kind of cool. I would like to be able to play around with it, but like,
yeah,
I don't need it. They're like, I'm kind of in the same boat too. I just didn't want to give up on the bidding. And I was like,
yeah,
you just drove the price up like an extra $100. Fuck. Like they did a to me.
And at least they reached out because, they could have gone way further than that.
Oh, absolutely. No, but at that point they were like, well, I don't really have the cash. Like, do you want to just take it? And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll buy the animal. I know Justin exports for free. So I'm not picking up any extra.
Oh, wow.
What's that?
I was just saying, oh, wow. That's amazing. I didn't know he did that. That's cool.
Yeah. So at least I'm not picking up any extra costs on top of the animal like I would if I was buying from another breeder. So anyway, ended up winning the auction. I think it was like $1,100 US, which was like $1,500 Canadian. Got him exported. Got him here, obviously. Looks amazing. Got him set up. Once he was ready to start putting with females, we were like, shit, we have so many options for him. Like, we don't know what Motley is, but we have a bunch of females with no purpose. And this is like 2 years ago. Like, back when, almost 2 years ago. Like, start to mid 2019, right? And for almost a year, this dude does nothing. Doesn't just fucking nothing.
Because I was gonna say that's been a minute since the chase auctions. Like it's crazy to me almost how long that's been. I saw him at Arlington.
2 clutches from him this year. 2.
Oh man.
And both of them were from a single lock.
That's insane.
Dale have no fucking idea how we even got him to lock because he has no interest in anything else. Like, I have a spot nose heck clown that I just upgraded to an adult tub that I really want to put to him because I think spot nose clown will look crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just curled up in the front, like fuck off. Like has no interest in breeding. I have no idea why.
He's Mr. Never Miss. He's like, listen, I'll get to her in a minute when I feel like it,
I'll do it on
and
my time.
then yeah, I'm gonna do it on my time. This is on my terms, and when I do, it'll be a done deal. You don't need to worry about
Yeah,
it.
I got this. But the problem there was I put him to a yellow belly Posset clown that didn't prove out, and
Yeah.
she dropped me like 3 slugs, and then we put him to a big VPI female, and she dropped me 5 eggs and I think 4 slugs.
Wow.
Yeah, probably because I only got 1 lock each, right? And neither one of them
Yeah,
was
sure.
probably
And
doing
so,
ideal time.
yeah. Hey, Kayla.
So anyway, still haven't done shit with it. Haven't made any money off it whatsoever.
Of course not.
But at this point, we've kind of leaned into using Motley as kind of. We decided to kind of use it as nothing for now. Like,
Sure, sure.
I have this girl growing up right here.
So you're almost treating it like a dinker. I mean, it's obviously not a dinker. I mean, it's very clearly there's something, but
Exactly. But the problem is the single genes are incredibly hard to see. So hold on.
right.
So this is what I believe to be a Motley yellow belly.
Okay.
And she's kind of funky.
Yeah, the pattern's real funky.
And she's dark with a lot of contrast.
That's what I say. I was gonna say the blacks on her are super rich, and the alien heads are real weird.
Yeah, she's just a funky female. So
Yeah.
I actually had to amputate her from her umbilicus and her egg sac because the umbilicus actually had a knot in it.
Mm-hmm.
So she came out at like 35 grams. So she's doing phenomenal.
Wow. You're doing a great job with her, man.
I
didn't think
she was
great.
going to survive. But yeah, she's looking super awesome. Very happy. But that was the first clutch we hatched. And I hit this. I hit a couple animals that looked just yellow belly-ish. And then I hatched another animal that when it hatched looked completely normal. But now, as it's aged, not much. Looks almost vanilla or fire.
Yeah, and see the thing with the previous one that you showed, there was no keyholes. There's no holes in the alien heads at all. The alien heads were like solid.
But what you can't make out here is that these alien heads have lots of speckling, like graniting in here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I can get that to pick up on the camera.
Well, and yeah, and like you said, like fire, like there's the flaming up the. It's just a little. It's just funky, and it does also same thing. It looks a little darker to me too.
I'm just trying to see if I can get this to pick up at all. It's not picking up, but basically, all the alien heads have crazy like little black speckling, right below like the eyes of the alien head.
Yeah,
and then they have these weird bellies that almost have like partial tracks, like
yeah,
they connect and then they don't connect and then they connect again. It's really weird. But when we first hatched this clutch, I had no idea what I was looking for.
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean, there's no not any documentation out there about the morph. Have you talked to Kabilka about those babies at all?
No, because he actually hadn't ever used that male. I got him as
okay.
full-grown male, but the problem was, so he bought that animal. This is the weirdest part. He bought that animal for $5,000 as a hatchling.
Okay.
He grew it up. He was planning a whole bunch of stuff with it, and as soon as that animal was ready, he hit the Pompeii.
So he just changed gears.
So he was like, I'm not going to focus on this yet. I'm going to do this other thing for now. We'll come back to this. And then I guess he just realized that he had so many other things on the go. He didn't have time to start something brand new.
Yeah.
But yeah, he told me that animal, he never repaired once.
That's wild.
Yeah. So got a second clutch from him, but now we know what we're looking for. Motley Clown to a VPI. We hit a 2.1 Motley double het and then a 1.1 double het.
Okay.
So I'm going to hold them back, the females, obviously,
because
I have this dude who's a spot nose yellow belly clown
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, look at the size on this thing.
Spot those clowns, man.
Het VPI is Xanthic. I'm not done my beer, but I'll take it. Thank you. Thank you. Just insane. I had to throw my iPad up because my phone died.
Oh, that's so much better.
It sucks because the camera's down here.
Do you want your laptop?
It does look good though. For the record, it looks.
I'm
fine.
glad it looks okay.
A bigger laptop would be better.
Oh no, I'm okay. Thank you, babe. Appreciate it.
Love you.
Love you too. Brain just stopped working. Oh, so.
You don't need anything?
No, I'm okay. Thank you, babe. So I was talking about how I wanted to put the spot nose het female, the breeder female, to my
Yes.
Motley clown.
Yeah.
So luckily, when those babies we just hatched are to size, I get to do the reverse, and I can put the spot nose yellow belly clown het VPI to the Motley females. So if the male decides not to breed this female, and I don't get to find out what spot nose Motley clowns look like, maybe I'll find out what spot nose Motley VPI clowns look like instead, which would be sick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's I can't even wrap my head around like what that might look like.
Well, not only that,
and I love stuff like that. That's super exciting, man.
It's also yellow belly too, and spot nose and yellow belly and clown work so great together. I'm sure you saw the crazy flaming on it. So, yeah, we have a lot of little stuff kind of just kicking around that I'm really excited for. This camera on the bottom of my iPad is freaking me out. I keep looking up.
It's all good, man. But, if it makes you feel any better, I literally have a webcam floating on the top of a tripod in front of me, and it's just floating there. And my video is over here, and my comments are directly behind the camera.
What I should do is I should look behind you because I can see a reflection of your screen in the.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Duran was busting my balls about that earlier. He's like, Zach, you need to, just make menu. I'm like, hey man, if you see anything up there about drill does, then that's entirely Chris's fault because that's definitely in my Google search history.
I can't believe that took off the way it did.
Dude, I can. I'm telling you, you have a strange knack for being able to make weird things popular. But between whether it's the drill dough conversation, which is still going to the point that like literally when Bradley and I did our live stream a few days after, my face freezes are hilarious because my internet sucks here at the house. And for the record, I was going to try to make it to Best Buy tonight to pick up an Ethernet adapter for my laptop because it's a freaking MacBook, and so they suck. Didn't make it over there, anyways. I don't even fucking know. It doesn't even matter. But yeah, it's just your knack for that stuff is funny, man. Because like I said, it was coming up in Bradley and I streamed like a couple days after the fact. Freaking hysteria. Alyssa, that was entirely me, and I actually made that thumbnail originally as a joke, and it was initially not blurred out. Chris has the original version.
And he's like, he sent that to me, and he's like, I really want to use this, but I'm not getting it, with a bunch of laughing emojis. And I was like, and why aren't you going to? Like,
and to be clear, Bradley said the same thing. Bradley said the exact same thing. He goes, dude, use it. he's like, what is YouTube gonna do? Like, what? It doesn't even matter. I'm like, well, like, I don't know. Like, they've got bots that search for certain like shapes of objects and things. So I pixelated it just for I don't know, for humanity's sake. But yeah, I love that took off. I think it's hysterical, and it's the same thing as that H word name that I'm not going to bring up again because I just fuck that guy in general, and I hate that people fucking defend him even for a second. But yeah, you're good at building hype around shit, man, and that's a skill, and maybe just a natural ability you have.
The funny thing about the drill dough, though, was that it was just supposed to be a passing comment to sort of kill some time while the guys were getting water, right? Like,
yep.
I was just trying to fill some space because I know in Billy's podcast, I watch the comments, not only live, but after the fact and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I do the same thing.
But I know Billy can kind of go off on his tangents, and there can be good chunks of time where nobody else says a word, including the guest or anybody else at the table. So I try to make a point to start stories or conversations that'll get other people involved, right?
Sure. I do the same thing. Yeah.
And Billy was kind of going on, and I mean, I'm not dragging Billy at all. He's got a lot of information to get out, and he's so damn passionate about this hobby that
yes, and that's what it is.
It just erupts. Like, I don't blame him.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
But I was just like, okay, well, you know what? This is a pretty funny story. I haven't told in a while. And Corey, I'm pretty sure Corey missed this part of the auction because she was there at the beginning of the auction. Yeah, I think she had gone home already. But that entire Tinley auction was probably the best evening of my entire life.
I love it.
And I can only say that because I got married in the afternoon. But
that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
But no, honestly, like, if you've never been to an NARBC auction, go do it.
I'm so upset. The auction at Arlington this year was super short. It only lasted like 20 minutes, and it was while we were at dinner, so I did not make it. I was so disappointed.
Ours was 3.5 hours, and then there was another hour silent auction afterwards.
Well, and that's why, like, we had gone to dinner, and everybody's like, "Oh, you know, no big deal. The auction runs for like 3 hours. It's all good." And literally, it was like 30 minutes. It broke my heart because I'm so excited to get to an NARBC auction because I know every great story that I've heard from any of the NARBC shows is all about the auction. Like, that's where the reality, that's where everything starts out. I'm going to try to.
Arlington auctions are better for the people that are bidding and like the goings on in the crowd.
Sure.
And then the Tinley auctions are better because we have Brian Potter.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So the overall, like, just energy and everything else.
Something else, man. Like, wow. It was the best. It was the best. Go.
Yeah, I'm excited because, like I said, I've just heard stories. Sorry, I apologize. Continue, man. If you even remember where you left off, I don't know.
No. No, I did actually. Shit, it's all good though.
Yeah, me too. It's fine.
Basically, no. I just thought it was really funny, because I didn't have an expectation going into the auctions.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there were a bunch of incredibly attractive women in less clothing than would be normally acceptable in such a setting, walking around carrying sex toys above their head. And everybody was just like, what the fuck? Like, it was just, it was just something else, right? So the whole night just stuck with me. And there's parts that I've never talked about before, like Nick bidding on some ball pythons that were worth less than the cost to export them to us. Like,
yeah, I've heard about that. So somebody told me that, like, no, it was you. It was you. You were saying how literally mostly at the Tinley auction specifically, that for the most part, the animals that get put up for the auction tend to go for less than what their actual value is. Whereas then somebody will put up like a 12-foot tall pink teddy bear, and it's like that'll go for
cake,
and that goes for $5,000. Yeah, but I love that. Because I started to bring it up about the Chase auction, the same thing. Like, then the Chase auction was almost like literally every item, and I love this so much. Like, it warmed my heart, and it gave me so much faith in not only this hobby, but just in humanity as a whole. Everything in that auction, every single item that I saw went for way more than it was worth, and that's spectacular.
Except for
But
Motley.
yeah, it's the goofy stuff that I love, and that's what I get a kick out of. Like which auction is it, or is it all of them where there's like a staff? Because I think Babu has it now. There's like a staff, or there's something where it's like it gets auctioned off every year, and the highest bidder gets to keep it for that
The
year.
belt, the USARK belt.
Okay.
Miguel
Yeah, I
had
think
it for a time, and yeah, I think Bob has it now.
I think Bob was finally like, "Fuck you! I'm going to spend it's an exorbitant amount of money, and which is amazing because again, those guys, the money goes to the best place that it can, which is to make sure that at least in the United States that we can keep doing what we're doing."
You just reminded me of probably one of the best parts of the Tinley auction that I was a part of. Miguel couldn't be there because that's when the California fires were happening.
Yes.
So he had Harrison Wang on the phone with him the whole time. And Harrison Wang was telling him what was up for auction, right? Well, I guess Miguel's wife really likes lychees. I guess she has a couple and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this is just, how many people do we have in here? A fair amount?
There's 20 on my screen. That's not, I haven't refreshed, but there's at least 20.
20, damn. That's nice. So this is just sort of a secret here. I haven't really told anybody, but Nick and I threw a little money aside, and I actually just sent Miguel a birthday present or Christmas present. Damn it. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm sure he'll post about it. But if you know what we sent him last time, you can probably have a pretty good guess. He featured it in one of his vlogs. But yeah, sorry, sort of went off the rails.
No, you're good, bud.
He had Harry Wang on the phone telling him what was up. And this first edition of a print that's out there. Like, have you ever seen the Lychee Locale print?
I think I have. I've seen enough posts. I'm sure that I have. I don't know if I'm like
at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure that I've seen it and just not been aware of like exactly what it was. But I know.
Yeah,
I know.
So the original went up for auction, and Miguel really wanted it. So
sure,
Harrison was bidding for him. Blah 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 blah, and it was going pretty high. And then Brian Potter noticed that Harry was on the phone while he was bidding, and Brian was like, "Who are you talking to?" And basically got Miguel's phone, or got Harrison's phone on the stage, and he started talking to Miguel directly, and then letting Miguel talk into the microphone, like through speakerphone. Oh my God, it was just. And then he was like,
"That's amazing."
On to bid more and stuff like that. It was
love stuff like that.
It was so fucking funny. We were all just dying. It was the best. Like,
that's amazing.
The funniest part was at the very end. So he was sort of bidding back and forth with one of the guys that owns one of the. There's a couple of the big companies that like sponsor the NRBC shows, and the owners go to the shows and bid the auctions. Sure. They're usually the ones that drive the prices up of like the trays of cookies and stuff like that, just because they.
Yeah.
They're awesome and they want to support the place, right?
And I would imagine it's a tax write-off. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if they. I don't know how they do that in terms of if they do it as a donation or I don't know.
I just wish I had the money to pay $2,000 for a tray of chocolate chip cookies.
You and I both. Trust me.
So he's kind of going back and forth on this thing, and it was up to like $3,000, I think. Like, and he's kind of bidding back and forth against somebody else, and the person taps out, and Brian tells him on the phone that he bid again.
Yeah.
So Miguel bid higher
on his own on his own bid. Oh man.
Like I cannot say enough good things about those auctions. They're so good. They're so funny.
And that's why I say I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed that I couldn't. That we missed the Arlington auction. It was literally like the entire day on Saturday. That's all I was looking forward to because I'm like I've heard way too many stories about how these auctions are, and and there was a guy, Jose Gallo, was there. I For those that have been keeping up with our lives, Jose Gallo, I've shouted him out before. He's a really good dude. He's hearing impaired, and he had a surgery. I don't know if it's still like kind of in an experimental stage or if it's just a matter of like it works differently for everybody. But he is actually able to hear some things now, which is amazing. So he's doing good. I keep tabs with him at least a couple times a week, just kind of checking on. But he was there, and he had some T-shirts made. Chris, do you remember when Miguel he had missed the odds? I think it was on like a Pompeii clutch or something. He had completely missed the odds, and somebody had made a meme of like the Michael Jordan crying on Miguel's body. So Jose got T-shirts made of that and was selling them at NARBC Arlington. And he put one in for the auction, and I think Bob Vu again paid like some exorbitant amount of money for him for like what Jose was paying like he was selling them for like $25 or whatever. It was hilarious. I mean, absolutely hysterical.
Zach,
So
can I quickly jump out because now my phone is apparently charged enough to
yeah,
do this
yeah,
properly.
whatever you want
I
to do,
just
man.
want to give you notice this time so I can switch over.
Yeah,
I'll be
you're
back in
good.
like 30 seconds.
All good. Whatever you want to do.
All right,
All
guys.
good.
I'll be back in.
No sweat. We'll see you in a second. But yeah, so just another kind of shout out to Jose. I can't tell you guys how happy I was when he told me that he was finally hearing some things because I think I said it in the last one that he after that surgery there's some adjustment because it's literally there's a device that actually interacts with his brain, and so there's electronics involved, but also like your brain has to adjust to signals and things, and so he was having headaches and everything else, and so I'm really 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 hoping for him for his sake that he's going to be able to hear soon, just because I can't imagine, I just can't imagine. And he's just such a good dude and so freaking positive. And you're back.
What's up?
What's up, buddy? All right. Where were we? I guess we were mostly just kind of talking about the Arlington auctions. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions if you don't mind. And I'll be honest, these are kind of selfish questions. How familiar are you with the trick gene? I don't. I obviously I know I don't think that you work with the trick gene at all, but I'm very curious. And if you don't have any idea, feel free to kind of suggest some people I can talk to. I have these
1 sec.
babies. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Sorry about that.
So yeah, no, you're fine. So I have these babies that are obviously from my Mojave Ultramel. Can you hear me still?
Yep, all good now.
Okay, just make sure. I just saw you pull your headphones out. I just want to make sure. So I have these babies that are obviously again from my Mojave Ultramel bred to a trick female. I was just trying to produce my own het so I can make some trick Ultramels, Mojave trick Ultramels, whatever. I have two babies that I know I feel strongly that one is a trick Mojave, but I know that Mojave messes with pattern, right? So obviously trick messes with pattern and it can be kind of subtle, so it's a little bit freaking weird to try to identify the combo. Would you be comfortable if I showed you on video telling me kind of your thoughts, or even just I don't know.
So you saw.
Feel free to say no. It's all good.
No. I don't want to say no. But you saw our last YouTube video, right? I'm pretty sure you commented on it. So,
yeah.
They had an albino Mojave, possible trick, possible blackhead, possible sit.
Yep.
I thought I knew what I was looking for with like the trick hurricane crap.
Me too. Until I had these babies, I was like, "Oh, I'm definitely gonna be able to identify it for sure, totally, 100%."
That was me with Motley, so we're fine.
Yeah.
So I'll happily take a look for you.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll have an idea, but anyway, show this dude off. Well, Zach's doing what he needs to do. So this looks like just a pastel clown. Woo! Super exciting! Just a pastel clown. Why the fuck is Chris wasting our time? This is our male pastel clown, het lavender, 50% het pied.
Beautiful.
I cannot wait till this dude's breeding. I have a pied het lab that's ready for him to prove out his het pied. If I can make a dreamsicle het clown, holy crap!
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Holy crap!
That'd be huge.
Yeah. So I'm not big on the Holy Grail stuff. I saw a pastel Holy Grail that actually I really liked. I didn't like the one Justin made. And that might just be bad luck. Like he might have just made one that didn't have a really good representation of the clown and the lavender and all that kind of stuff. But I saw a pastel Holy Grail somebody in Germany made that looked incredible. So I'm not writing it out. I'll maybe pursue it down the line. I'm happy that my male has pastel only because the only one so far I've seen that I like is a pastel. But yeah,
I gotta get some clown, man.
You won't see many pastel clowns in our collection that are just pastel clowns because I actually don't like the head stamp. I feel like pastel destroys what makes clown, which is.
And we've talked about that. That you're at least in some degree a kind of clown or a pastel naysayer.
No. Only in clown do I.
Only in clown. Okay.
Pastel.
Okay. Thank you for your clarification.
I need that to be said because there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, fuck pastel.
Yeah, and that's happening. No. I feel like that's recent, right? Maybe I'm just disconnected, but it's very recent.
I feel like it started about 2 years ago and it's picked up steam.
I feel that way a little bit myself. I'm like, I have too much pastel in my collection, and maybe it's just that. Is I'm just like, I have too much of it.
If you go look at my story right now, it's funny because I'm sitting here going, oh, I hate pastel and clown. It's stupid, blah, blah, blah. If you go look at my Instagram story right now, I just shared a clutch that Mordex ball pythons had.
Yeah.
Every baby was guaranteed killer clown minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum. It was a super pastel clown to a super pastel clown, leopard, fire, yellow belly.
Oh, wow.
The clutch looks.
They're probably nuts.
Unbelievable. Like.
Yeah. And I love supers of basically everything because it's that next level thing. And I don't feel like enough people breed for supers realistically. Cause like go on Morph Market right now and try to buy a super GHI. There's probably 5 of them listed.
That's because there's people like me out there that don't let them get to Morph Market.
Right. And that's what I'm getting at, though. That's what I'm saying. Everybody freaking keeps them, which is, I don't know how you are. For me, anytime something kind of pops into my head, right? Like, what's, super GHIs, like, or just, like the first time I looked at them or whatever. When I look anything up, I don't care what gene it is. When I look anything up and I sort by single gene and I go to females, if there's 3 of them listed or if there's none of them listed, I'm immediately interested.
Oh yeah. There's a good reason, right?
Right. And that's what I'm getting at because it's like any other investment. I want to test the market depth, and the market depth of super GHIs. Again, I'm just using that as an example because it's what popped in my head. Is very shallow, I think. And so I think there's a ton of opportunity.
It's funny that you say that because I thought the same way.
Right.
Until I needed a super GHI het clown female.
Okay.
And that's what this is.
Yeah.
Super GHI Mojave het clown is this female right here.
Okay. And so are you saying there's more of them out there than you think?
Yes. So what I'm saying is there's lots out there. A lot of people breed for them.
Right.
The problem is the people that breed for them don't want to let them go. They're hard enough to hit as they are. So to then turn around and sell them is very, wow, that's going to sound weird. I was going to say to sell them is very seldom. But it's incredibly rare.
No, for sure. And that's what I mean. And so I think that, and it's again, it's weird. It's like recessives. It's weird to me to say that, like, oh, there's value in this, because it's like if you breed a clown to a clown, you get more clowns, and so it's easy to make 1,000 of them if you really wanted to, right? I think it's just a matter of identifying that I don't think there's a ton. Like, I feel like the people that are breeding for them, once they've hit it, they stop breeding for that. They're like, okay, I've got mine and I'm happy. And maybe I'm wrong.
Here's the thing, it's tough. This is another one of those things that don't get touched on a lot, so it's kind of
No, it
hard
doesn't.
to it's hard to put into words properly, but it's a good topic. It's a very good topic.
Yeah.
So that Trick Mojave Ultramel clutch was your first clutch, right?
Yep. First ever clutch.
So when we first got back into it, we thought every clutch we had to have needed to be groundbreaking. Otherwise, it would be pointless.
Mm-hmm. Which I found was the opposite.
You got it. So we were trying to only make the best things we possibly could. That does not go well all the time.
Nope,
So
it
you
does not.
shouldn't do that. Do it. My biggest piece of advice to anybody that's just getting in is do what you want to do.
Yep. And people say it all the time, and nobody listens. Even myself, I didn't listen. I did to a degree, which is why I pushed so hard in the Ultramel stuff. Because I'm like, you know what? I like that, and not that many people are really working with it. Realistic, like, at least when, like, especially when I got into it, I literally, and granted, the Charlotte Repticon is not a big show, but Chris, I went to the Charlotte Repticon 3-4 shows in a row. There was not a single Ultramel available for sale on anybody's table, to the point that I actually sold one to, I regret it now. I sold him. I had a visual Ultramel male. And I mean, I say I regret it. I do and I don't. I sold that male. He was a baby. I sold it to who I assume now is an animal flipper. But I sold him because I was like, I don't need him right now. What is this I'm looking at?
Do you see that orange spot?
I do.
That's an Ultramel Paradox. Do you see the top of the
That's
head?
right. Did you post him on Instagram?
I posted her a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it, because I think I remember commenting like Ultramel with like a bunch of hearts or a bunch of fire or something.
Has almost like a head stamp paradox. You see that?
Yeah, I think I remember seeing you posted on your story, because I was just blown away, because that's amazing to me to have an Ultramel paradox, like that, a paradox of bright orange like that is crazy.
So apparently that's incredibly common in Ultramel.
Really? You know what? You actually brought that up on the podcast the other night about paradoxing. And I thought I would vomit, because I think when you brought it up, Billy was like, "Oh, we should ask Zach. We should definitely ask Zach. He's Master Ultramel. He's gonna know." And I'm like, I don't know anything. I'm like, Billy, you don't understand. I don't even deserve the nickname Master Ultramel. It just came to me as a joke. So
Billy
thank you. I'm
joking.
honored.
He has
but
a really bad habit of putting
people on the spot
in his voice, so when he's joking, it doesn't sound like he's joking.
Right. Well, yeah, and I couldn't tell. Like, if he was joking, that's great, because that makes me feel a lot better. Because I was like, I really hope that he doesn't think that I know anything about that, because I definitely do not. Yeah, I mean, literally, I was like, like,
so you're not gonna like me right now, but this
Go ahead.
girl
No,
is
please.
my only Ultramel animal.
But you have her, and that's exciting for me.
So this is a Bongo Mystic head Ultramel.
Oh wow. I almost actually got a Mystic, because, and the reason was, and Kabilka advised me against it, because it was literally the phone call that I had with Kabilka. Fuck, that animal is so beautiful, man.
It's so dark, man. I love this.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous animal. Yeah, when I was talking to Justin on the phone, literally about Kathleen, that's fucking amazing. I'm so excited. Let me know the date, and I will absolutely be there. I don't care if I'm working. I will call it sick, like whatever needs to happen.
What's happening? I can't see comments right now because my shit's all run out of.
Oh yeah, you're good. So Kathleen and Kathleen had talked to me about she's doing, obviously she's got her YouTube lives, which are great. She's a beast. She's got
She's
thankfully
alright.
like she's a beast in terms of the lives. Like you're on her live tomorrow night, right?
She's alright. I don't want to give
So
Kathleen any undue praise.
yeah, me either. She's just terrible. But I
No,
mean, for anybody
I love
that's watching
Kathleen.
this that hasn't gotten
I
enough
sent her
of
daughter. I sent her daughter an animal. I sent
her
Kathleen a
daughter,
bunch
is
of
so great.
animals. Yeah, no, Scarlett's fantastic.
She's wonderful.
And yes, I am on hers tomorrow night. I just love
Yeah.
I love messing with Kathleen. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine, man. You're totally fine.
Keep going.
But yeah, so Kathleen is having like she's gonna, she's doing her mentor series and her like beginner series. But now she's expanding it out into like these roundtable meetings, with more than like a ton of different people on lives, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess King Austin, he's going to be on a live with her, and we're going to do one specifically about Ultramel. And she so kindly invited me to be a part of that, so I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so if you don't mind, just really quick, while we're talking about Ultramel, I'm going to show you these two babies, and you can kind of give me an idea of.
You might as well show me now.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. So again, for all I know, these both might be just Mojaves, and I think that's more the advice I'm looking for, because again, I'm not super familiar with single G Mojave. So you tell me if you think this pattern is just that, or if you think it's a little bit more. So this is the one that I'm pretty convinced is both, is a Mojave trick.
That's a Mojave trick.
And mostly because of just how crazy that section.
Unless that's het pied,
Yes.
that has to be trick.
Yeah.
Because
So
Mojave,
this was the one I was like 100% on.
Yeah, anything in the Bell complex, if it's het pied, it has that chaining of the alien heads like you just showed me.
Yeah.
But if that's not het pied, that has to be Mojave trick. Otherwise, that's funky as fuck.
Yeah. So this was the one I was like 100% on, and I felt pretty good about. Now this is the one that I think may just be a Mojave on its own, because every bit of this pattern is all stuff that I have seen on a standard Mojave, with the exception of just a couple little spots on the alien heads. So that is a little weird to me, but I've seen that on Mojaves.
Okay,
and
I'm going to answer your question by showing you something.
But you know how Trick, or at least from what I've seen, Trick gives these random donuts. Yeah. So, and that says poo for anybody that's watching this.
Do you see this? What I'm showing you, Zach?
Yeah, I do. I'm. And so, what is that? That's just a Mojave.
This is a lesser.
Lesser. I was gonna. Oh, that's just a lesser.
Yeah.
So see, I was just gonna say it looks super bright.
I feel like I shouldn't say that's just a lesser. I'm sorry. I'm underselling myself greatly. This is a lesser.
You're okay.
Double het clown pied, 50% het hypo female.
Oh, there you go. Not just a lesser.
No, but that weird pattern can jump into Bell complex animals. As soon as you get into hets, they can start going funky like that. When this girl first hatched, I thought she was less leopard. I was almost positive she was leopard.
Yeah, just because of how wild the pattern was, right?
But
and
they might all be in sheds, so bear with me here. But
no, you're fine, man.
This is leopard.
Yeah, and it's much darker, which I love that about leopard.
Like, oh, there we go. That's leopard, right? So she's not leopard. She's just. So I would say no if I had to guess.
Yeah, me too. That's where I'm at with it.
I would.
What I'll probably do. Say what?
I would love to tell you that I think it is.
Sure. Well, me too. I would love to tell, but my immediate thought was that this animal right here, I will probably sell as a Mojave, and I will throw it. I don't even know that I'll list it as a possible trick. I might just, whoever buys it, I'll just say, hey, it's a Mojave het Ultramel. I know those two things for a fact, and if you buy it, there was trick in the pairing. So if you get some weird pattern, in 3-4 years, whenever she breeds for you, great. You got Trick for free. Like, I'm not going to upcharge for it. That one is probably going to be my holdback. And it's really funny because I'm pretty sure both of them are females, and they are both the first ones that ate for me. So they are the biggest and the happiest and healthiest. Like, they ate frozen thawed meal one, like literally 3-4 days after shedding. Octavio, yes, I'm pretty sure that both of these are females. I am, again, not super experienced with these things, and to me, when they're tiny, like, they're just so fragile. That animal is insane.
Guess what this is? It's not hard. What did I tell you that last one was?
So there was what, Mojave Lesser, or there was a Lesser Yellow Belly? Sorry, I got squirrel brain right now.
Lesser leopard.
Lesser leopard. That's all that is.
Double head hypoclown though.
Right.
This female's double head hypoclown.
Man, that's beautiful. That is just
leopard. This by stupid chance, this year leopard has become my favorite gene.
Oh no! It's been one of my favorites from the get-go, and that actually segues me into my next question. Go ahead if you got something else. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to show you off a snake, but I'll show you off another one. So,
please do.
Leopard just by chance became one of my favorite genes this year.
Yeah.
We bought the leopard past a lesser clown because we needed a powerhouse clown. And I was like, you know what? I do like leopard. I like leopard and clown. It's pretty cool. But the amount of shit that we've hatched this year and the cool stuff, like, look at this. This is just a non-het version of Dad.
That's insane.
That's just a pastel
it's
lesser.
It's just beautiful, leopard. Man. It's just absolutely. That's a pastel leopard?
Pastel lesser leopard.
Okay. Because I was going to say, this is a pastel leopard. This is a pastel leopard.
Pastel leopards. Hold on.
Well, hang on. Not just a pastel leopard. Again, I don't mean to sell myself short. This is a pastel leopard. That's a het ultramel that I got from Justin Kabilka.
Sick animal.
Yeah. Again, it's from Justin Kabilka. I tell people all the time. Yeah, this is a female. Those babies, again, I do think that both the ones that I just showed I think both of them are female. I will obviously 1000% confirm that before I sell anything at all. It will also be January before I am willing to sell anything, mostly just because of shipping. And I again, both those girls that I showed have been eating. So that's a pastel leopard you have right there?
Yeah, so this is a pastel leopard that I have a weird feeling is a really, really low-end spot nose. So look at the head.
Okay, yeah.
See the weird spotting on the head? And notice how my pattern chains a lot more than yours?
Sure. Yes.
Not a ton. Absolutely. Because most leopard spot noses are bizarre. Like the hets look like Batman's, right?
Yes. They absolutely do. You're
like
absolutely right. Yeah.
But spot nose is super variable. So
yes.
I have this guy for sale. I'm like 90% certain he's going to prove spot nose, and nobody's jumped on him. If he gains another like 100 grams for me before he sells,
you're going to keep him. Yeah.
Why the hell
I would
not, right? Like I
would pull this girl out, but she's actually still locked right now. So I have she's like the crowning jewel of my collection to me, because I've had her since she was a baby, and again, she's produced by Kabilka, and I don't know of anybody else that has her genetics. She's a fire yellow belly spot nose, 100% het ultramel.
Damn.
Yeah,
fire
and she was bred
spot het ultra.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, like
I want to put that female
ultra clown.
The fire, or not fire, Jesus. The hypo ultramel pied breeder male that me and Billy.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Hey, man, if she doesn't go for me, I'll mail her to you. Because she's amazing. But so I'm 99. Like, a matter of fact, I'll just kind of, let me grab my notes. So let's see. Like, she has not stopped eating for me yet. But let's see, on
Zach, you're in
literally
the Discord, right?
Oh yeah, dude, that snake's crazy.
You see that?
And it looks like a highlighter.
Yo. That's where that came
looks
from.
like that's nuts.
Do you have a guess of which he is?
There's got to be leopard in there.
Yep. So, okay. Here's a context clue first for you. I had zero thought of ever holding back a male het this year. Ever.
Okay.
So the fact that I hit this and kept it is incredible. So you know it's leopard, and obviously you can tell it's pastel. There's two more in there.
Does that have lesser in it?
Nope.
Does it have inchy in it?
Nope.
For the record, anybody that's watching this, I'm super amateur at genetics, but
pastel, leopard, ODYB het clown.
Wow.
Pastel leopard, orange dream, yellow belly het clown.
See, I've got to get some orange dream too. So I'm kicking myself because Justin from Family Jewels, he still has one female. He still has a female that's just orange dream het ultramel, and she's super reasonably priced. I think she's like $600. I really want to pick her up just because, for the money. I don't think I'm going to be able to get orange dream with het ultra for less than that in the next forever. But he actually had. Let me ask you this: are you familiar with a gene called denim?
Never heard of it.
I've never heard of it. I couldn't find anything on Google, so I have no idea. But he had. It's not listed for sale anymore. It's listed as, I guess somebody's put a deposit down on it. But it's a female. It's orange dream, and it's definitely orange dream, and it's definitely pinstripe. And it's 100% het ultramel, but it's also like possible denim and possible something else, I think. Yeah, I think that's Chris with the crackling mic. He's trying to plug his headphones in.
Yeah, no, it was fine for a bit, and then it fucked up again. No, I've never heard of denim ever. No, I don't even think anybody's ever mentioned it to me before. So
yeah, I had never heard of it either. Let me ask your thoughts on this too, because most people that I'd asked about this, and again, I don't mean to like derail this into ultramel talk, but you guys knew it was coming eventually. So Marshall Mendez, and I don't know if it's even still available. And if it is, great. If it's not, no big deal. But just kind of on the record, like I guess from a breeding plan standpoint, right? So obviously I've got a couple of het ultramel girls, and I have one that's a visual ultramel. And I'm mostly just kind of holding on to her. She's not quite breeding weight. She'll be there very soon. She's hit that 1,000-gram wall, but I feel like if I bred her, she would go. You know what I mean? I feel like if I bred her, she'd start eating like crazy because she's about 3 years old. Anyways, there's a male that was available that was a pastel clown, visual clown, het ultramel that I was very interested in buying because it was relatively inexpensive for what it was. I mean, we're talking, he was basically selling it for the price of a male visual ultramel, like less than $500. To me, that makes all the sense in the world for me to buy because I'm like, okay, I can make my own double hets. Worst case, and excuse me, it wasn't het ultramel, it was 66% het.
Okay, so that changes a lot to me.
Right, and yeah, sorry, and that was the hang up for a lot of people. They're like, yes, no. Most people said, don't do it. It's not worth the time investment. Because my thought was, I have a visual female in my rack that I have no intention of using yet, but obviously, I mean, she's valuable because she's going to be breeding size and she's a visual recessive.
What are your other options for her? That's my first question to you.
So the only other male that I have is a Mojave Ultramel. So all I could produce with her would be more Mojave Ultramels.
Okay, so that changes my answer.
Right. Me too. Then that was my thought.
If the price on the animal was less than you would expect to pay for a pastel clown male, I would say go for it. Because that might be what you end up with.
Right.
Worst case, in that situation, you end up with pastel double hets.
Right.
So you don't have a ton of downside, and you end up with double hets anyway. It's not
that was my thing. Yeah, I'm thinking worst case scenario, and I think he's a possible blade even. So that again just throws another layer on top. And you're talking. I'll just tell you,
True.
it's a $300 animal
Then I would take the
that
chance.
if it proves out.
However, here's the issue you're running into because you're taking two
Okay.
gambles. You're not just
Yes.
taking one gamble. You're actually taking two.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if he proves out, fantastic. It doesn't matter. You win. Like you hit all males and they're all ultra male and double hets.
Yeah.
You won't have any issues. Even if you even if you just bury yourself on the sex odds, if you prove him out, you're laughing. Now you have a pastel clown, 100% head ultra male. You can even sell the babies for nothing. It doesn't matter. You now have a power animal, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Other side of it, it doesn't prove out.
Mm-hmm.
And you end up with all males.
Yeah. So now I have nothing but double het males.
Pastel clown male that probably doesn't have any room in your collection unless you have some clown project I'm not aware of. And a bunch of babies.
And that's it. I have no clown. I have zero clown whatsoever. So if he doesn't prove out, he's basically useless to me after making the double hets. Beyond making double hets, I have no use for him. The only thought in my mind was, again, because I always look at everything from the numbers and a business standpoint, is okay, what is a proven breeder clown, pastel clown worth to somebody? And is that number higher than $300? Less what it's going to cost me to get him to breeding weight and invest. You know what I mean? There's money there.
There's the other part too, where technically you can still list him as 66% het if you're only doing one clutch. If he doesn't prove out one clutch, you could have just got fucked. But
and I thought the exact same thing. Yes.
But and here's the big but in your question. I think the chance of you hitting an ultra male het clown heavily outweighs the risk of not hitting one. Because if you hit one animal in that entire clutch, male, it could just be
tenfold.
Just an ultra male het clown. Somebody will pay 7 to 8 times what you paid for that male.
Yep.
It'll make up for the time you wasted breeding, the food you fucking fed to the male and the female while they were breeding, the hydro, like
everything.
The risk involved in your particular scenario is low enough that worst case scenario, you end up with a bunch of double hets, and you know what? You'll probably get some females in there, and
right, and those will pay for the effort. I'll hold a couple of them, like all the females. I'll hold back. Even the males, same thing. Even the males, somebody will buy double het males. Somebody will, not for $1 million. No, they'll pay me a couple $100 for them.
Exactly. So the thing is, with the double het males, you're going to hold on to them for a while, and you'll probably get $150 to $200 for them. You're not going to kill it, right? But the females are what you cannot find right now, especially in your project. If it was any other project, if you had said like Hypopide, I would have told you to fucking tell that person to fuck off. I would have told you not even to think about it, because there's so much Hypopide stuff out there right now that you can turn around and throw a
There's another layer to this. The male is 100% blade. He's a blade clown, 66% het.
A blade ultra. Oh, okay. We have a cat. A blade ultra male clown.
I've been waiting for it. So it's a blade.
I can't believe it took this long.
So I know me either. I actually almost put cats in the the thumbnail. Yeah, so he's a blade clown, 66% het ultra male.
So I think
I don't see how I can lose.
Ultra male clown would look phenomenal. So I don't think that's a bad thing. Stop chewing on the damn headphone. In your particular situation, my advice would be to take the risk. Obviously, you're well aware of the risk.
Yeah.
And this is coming from somebody. Hold on. This is coming from somebody who's every POS head I had this year did not prove. Every single one. So you think that would make me jaded to it, but your upside is
Yeah.
way higher. If you hit
Right.
one ultra male het clown,
Yeah, that's it.
male,
I'm set.
male or female, male, you
And
hit
it's twofold. Yeah, it's twofold because okay, now I've got babies that are ridiculously valuable because all the babies again are going to be 100% double het no matter what. No matter what. Males, females, doesn't matter if they're 100% double het because I have a visual female. And if I hit one visual baby, that male who I just paid $300 for is now worth $6,000, four grand minimum. I think based on the last pricing, don't quote me on that pricing, but I'm pretty sure
even, Zach,
that's roughly
even
what I've
if
seen
it's
it go.
$1,200,
Yeah,
you just
It's-
quadrupled the worth of
it's
the
an
animal.
insane amount of money. Yeah,
Now,
I think
hold on 1 second
Yeah.
because I want to
Bring-
give a
let's
counterpoint.
bring us back down to ground level.
I want to give a counterpoint. So this is a male. This is a male double het hype or double het clown pied, 50% het hypo.
Okay.
I think it's also leopard. Right? Looks kind of leopardish.
I would say, yeah.
I can't drop this animal for $100. Canadian. That's like $80.
I was gonna say, and
your US.
yeah, and somebody in the chat
currency.
said the same thing. Vivid Scale said the same thing. Double het males are hard to sell. Even single het males are hard to sell. And I like I said, I'm definitely trying to take that into account because it's not just a matter of like, oh, I'm gonna buy this male and roll the dice on him, and that's the end of my investment. It's also okay, I have to breed him. So there's time and money involved in all of that. And then on top of that, okay, now I have babies. I have to sell these babies. Like these babies have to go somewhere. And for anybody that's familiar with my personal YouTube channel, my biggest reason for starting on YouTube was to make sure that when I do produce stuff, I have a place for them to go. You know, that was why I wanted to build my network of people. And I have, and everybody that's around me is absolutely amazing. Like Mendy absolutely is going to end up getting one of my babies from this first clutch. I'm super excited to see where all those babies end up and like to be able to track them as they grow and that whole part of it, you know, because I haven't experienced that yet, and it's exciting. But yeah, I'm definitely fully aware of that, and that's why I've hesitated to pull the trigger. But I also think that the reality is like there's a local reptile store to me that I feel pretty strongly would buy my baby, even if I sold them as normals. You know, if that's what I had to do, if I sold it to them wholesale for $20, $30, $50, I don't care.
If you have a place that will take them,
yeah,
that makes the risk even less because
Yes.
now you're not stuck with them for a year, 18 months feeding them, right?
Because that's a significant cost, right?
Exactly. So that's actually your cost when you miss. It's not selling the animal. It's actually feeding the animal, the time to clean the animal, the cost to heat the animal.
It's not the initial sunken cost. It's the sunken cost of the failed or not production. And if you fail, depending on your odds, you might be hurting. Yeah.
So I had a clutch this year. It was a full clutch. I only ended up with 3 eggs total at the end, but it was an Enchi Spectre female that I put to a yellow belly pied het lavender. I was like, shit, if I can hit one super striped female, I'm laughing. And if I hit a male, at least I can sell it. It makes the clutch worth it, right? Like super stripe het pied, 50% het lavender, somebody will grab it. So I got 5 eggs. 2 looked really bad when they were laid. They didn't make it. I ended up with 3 eggs. I ended up with 3 fucking Enchi males. One, I'm pretty sure, is a yellow belly or a Spectre. I can't tell. But I can't sell them to save my damn life. Like, nobody wants them. And I'll even show you. The Enchi yellow belly / Spectre is incredible looking. So even as a pet, I can't get rid of this animal. So it just goes to show you, no matter what you make, you always have to be prepared to hold on to these things, because I've had this thing for a couple months now and just, there's a second cat. Come on.
Yeah.
Here's the other one.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that are basically everybody that's new to this hobby, they underestimate that because they see the numbers and uh, Forrest Fanning, rest in peace. He used to always use the term calculator cowboys. It's easy to go on Morph Market and be like, okay, what happens if I put these two animals together? All right, well, these are the statistics. This is what I'm going to get. Well, yeah, but you might literally there's also 100% chance that you might get, or like a 80% chance that you might get normals out of that pairing. Like you might get all normals. It can happen. That's the way statistics work, and people don't think about that.
Oh,
you can
no,
get all normals and have a bunch of animals that are worth $20 or $30, wholesale, and unless you have the market for it, you might not even be able to sell them whole. You know what I mean? You have to make those plans first and then figure out the second half.
The big thing is a lot of people go into this not having a wholesale option, not having a this, not having a that.
They don't have they don't have a distribution plan. 1,000%. And that was, I think the first time I actually heard anybody talk about that was Garrett Hartle was just talking about like, hey, if you're just somebody that's interested in these animals and because you like them and said the other, like that's wonderful, but you need to understand. And I always bring up dog breeding as like the best example of this. Do not ever breed anything, and even humans. Don't ever breed anything unless
don't breed humans.
Plan for it. First of all, don't breed humans. Second of all,
did you pick that up? Did that pick up?
I did.
I love my wife. She's the best.
That was amazing.
Oh, I'm so glad that picked up on the microphone.
Just that was so great.
Don't make people.
I couldn't have asked for that.
Oh, everybody heard that. That was amazing.
That was fucking awesome.
We're not having kids, if you can't tell.
Yeah, and I fully support that. And same way, I support people that want kids. Like I think at some point I want a kid. And I'll be the first person to tell you I think it's a selfish thing in my own head. I fully agree with people that think that way. So sorry, but at some point I'm probably going to do that. I don't want like 12 kids, but I do at some point want a kid. Anyways. We're not getting into that on this podcast, but yeah, you have to have a distribution network for them. If you are pairing ball pythons, and you haven't thought about the fact that you might be stuck with every single one of those babies, and you might have one or you might have 12, that's crazy. Like, and I had thought about it, but you know what, dude, it's still insane to me that I went from overnight in one night, I had 17 snakes and suddenly I have 23.
Do you want to know what the most animals I've ever brought in at one time is?
Of course.
30. And I don't have a 2,000 snake collection like Billy, so 30 that's like 15 to 20% of my collection. Like
I want to tell people. I always tell people, and I think about everything this way. I always think of percentages. That it comes from my background in mortgage. I think of percentages with everything. Like I had 17 snakes. Okay, now I have 23. I added 6 more. 6 doesn't sound like a lot. That's more than 30 fucking percent.
That's a big jump.
Insane amount. Considering the reality is that unless I'm lucky or make the plans ahead of time, nobody wants these damn things. Because had I not done everything that I do on social media and made a name for myself and made a point to promote the Ultramel project and made a point to promote myself within that project, nobody would even know who the fuck I am. And nobody would be remotely interested in buying a fucking animal that I have.
Well, and here's the other thing. A lot of people think, oh, once I get my face on YouTube, once I get my face on Instagram, once people know me, I'll sell snakes.
Yeah, people think it's automatic.
This is what they think. They're like, oh, well, once I get known, then I'll have no problem.
Yeah. Yep.
People know me. I'm still stuck with fucking animals. If you think that's the reason you sell snakes, hit me up. I got some snakes to sell you. Like,
don't work that way.
That's not how it works. You still have to
the same as merch. Not to dumb it down, but it's
still have to have the animals people want.
To simplify it, it's the same fucking thing. It's the same
Mhm.
fucking thing.
Mhm.
You can easily get stuck with 200 fucking t-shirts because nobody actually fucking wants them because
Yep.
people tell you they want them. But until I got money in my hands and I'm shipping a snake out the door, I don't have a fucking clue.
Were you I feel like you've been on my Facebook for a few months now, right? Like we've been friends on Facebook for a while.
Yeah, we've been friends on there for a while now.
So
Yeah.
you saw my drunken rant a couple weeks ago about the hats?
I
I
didn't
shared-
see that one. I didn't see.
Oh,
I don't.
okay. So
I don't
I
see
shared a
everything.
memory.
It's always hard to keep up with everybody's stuff. But yeah,
I shared a memory from my Facebook about a year ago. I asked people that I was friends with if anybody would be interested in ball caps.
yeah,
Like, and I had a great reaction. I probably had like 30, 35 people, and I was like, okay, I'm not an idiot. I know 35 people aren't all going to buy my baseball hats.
sure.
But I'll buy 20. Nick can have one.
Yeah.
We'll give a couple more to our friends. And then the remaining, say, 15, I'm sure out of the 35 people that said, oh, I definitely want one, we'll pick up most of them at least to cover some of the costs, right?
Yeah, Chris, do
I
you still have hats?
sold 2.
Do you still have hats?
I don't. We ended up giving them all
Okay.
away.
Okay.
If we did, honestly, I wish I would have just held on to them and not gotten frustrated because I feel like now
Well, yeah. The only reason I was
could have
asking is
gotten rid of
because
them.
Kathleen said something about it.
I feel like now I could have got rid of them, but
Yeah.
it bothered me so much because, and this has nothing to do with the snake community. This had
No,
part of the ball. No,
Business.
no.
It's yeah.
No. This is the thing. It had nothing to do with the ball python hobby community. Nothing like that. These are all people that I'm supposed to be friends with in real life. These aren't
Oh,
the
okay, yeah,
amazing, supportive people that we know online that comment on all their stuff.
yeah.
Those people are amazing. Those people actually
Yeah.
buy stuff. Those people actually want to support the hobby. These
Sure.
people that I've known since high school, middle school, like they're the ones that
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, we really want one of those. I'm really happy you're doing well," and then just
Yeah.
fucked off. Like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah. And I'm not going to say that I've seen the same thing, but I have seen the same thing in the sense that, like, you know, I've got family and close friends that I've known for years and years and years. And they're like, "Oh, I'm definitely going to watch, you know, like your live stream." And the thing is, I'm like, I don't care if you watch my live stream or not. Like, it means a lot to me that you'll like, even acknowledge that you're paying attention to what I'm doing. Like that means a lot to me. I don't expect anyone that that I'm friends with outside the reptile hobby to ever watch what I'm doing right now, you know, or even care about it. And because that's reasonable. That's perfectly reasonable.
I'll tell you a little side story.
Yeah, please.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
No, please, always interrupt me. Like,
No. I feel like a dick because my brain is like, say something, and then I realize
you and I are both the same way, man. We're squirrel. You got to talk. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when I started this, my mother had zero interest.
Yeah.
I lost my dad when I was really young. I shouldn't say really young. It was like 12 years ago. I was 20, 22, somewhere in there.
That's young. That's young to lose a parent. To be clear,
young enough. It didn't feel great.
I only interrupt you to say that because I want you to understand. Because I feel like based on the fact that you felt the need to clarify it, that is very young to lose a parent.
It's definitely young enough.
Brother,
it fucked me up real bad.
Yeah.
Like,
I lost a brother when I was 9 years old.
Oh shit, man.
And so we're together on that. And that's not me like fucking comparing whatever. That's just me acknowledging that I do understand. And the reason I bring it up is because I feel like it's important to acknowledge. Again, just the fact that you felt the need to reiterate, like, well, I wasn't that young, and so you kind of felt the need to like dumb down,
clarify it. I felt like I had to clarify and give an explanation.
Yeah, but you're clarifying in the wrong way because that is way young. That's way fucking young to lose a parent, man. So I'm very sorry about that, and I love you, and I hate that you dealt with that.
I appreciate you saying all that because nobody's ever bothered to say that.
No, we need to normalize more and more. We need to normalize talking about stuff like that because, man, it does happen, and nobody should ever feel Like I'll tell you, the best thing I've ever done is talk more about what happened to my brother. I would encourage you to do the same thing, and not talk about it in a downing, depressing way, but just talk about it the same way. Like you acknowledge anything else. Like I had a bad day yesterday. It can be that, you know what I mean? It's that simple, man. Like, fuck, when I was in my early 20s, lost my dad, and move on. Like, don't dwell on it, but just acknowledge it. It'll make you fucking feel better.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I don't attach myself to it the way I used to, which is exactly what you were describing. And it was almost like a stigma, like, oh, I lost my dad. Like, no,
yes.
that's not what I do anymore.
And that's okay,
like,
man.
I no, and absolutely. And I'm not, I don't want to stick on this too long. I don't want to make people
we won't.
like,
We won't.
oh,
We'll move
this
right on. Yeah.
But,
sorry, I just felt the need to bring it up just because of the way.
No.
That's all.
It's totally cool, man. Like I know a lot of people go through it. Like I'm not like, oh, I'm special. Like,
no. I trust me. I don't think that at all, man. Not at all.
Sorry, there's just a shit ton of comments that just popped up in my
I
iPad.
know.
Working now.
Yeah, you're good.
But sorry, what started off that whole thing was, my dad was basically my anchor in my family. Like he was, my like we were good friends. Like, and before I ever really started in the hobby, he passed away. I shouldn't say before, but like basically right when I was getting in is when it happened.
Kind of in the midst.
Yeah. So my mom had like hated snakes, like this is fucking stupid. And obviously I had my first snakes when I was still living with her because I was in college, and she hated it. Like she just like cursed me out for having snakes in her house and all this kind of stuff. And then when I moved out, like she wouldn't ever even want to talk about it. Like it was just like a taboo subject. And recently, now that I'm doing, and I don't want to say well, but now that I'm doing better, now that people
you're doing well,
kind of know
I'll
who I
acknowledge
am.
it for you. You're doing well.
Well, I appreciate that,
well.
but I try to stay a little bit more down to earth.
I know, man. I know. I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable, but I'm just telling you, man. I'm excited for what you have going on. You're doing some great things, man.
I appreciate that. It's just I know I have an ego problem, so I don't want to like.
It's okay. No, you're good. I'm the same. You remind me a lot of myself in so many ways. So, you're good, brother. It's all good.
So, this is something I actually haven't said to anybody, whether on camera or off camera. Not because I've been keeping it to myself and this is a big reveal or anything like that. Just haven't really had the chance to talk about it. But this past week, my mom was like, oh, hey, by the way, I subscribed to your YouTube channel. And I was like, what? Like, out of all the kind words I've gotten from people up here, people down here, like in the hobby, like big people, small people, like out of everything, to hear my mom be like, oh, hey, by the way, like I subscribe to your YouTube, like it's not even a big deal. She might not even watch a single video. Like
it is.
It was so cool.
No, it's validation, man. It's not even just validation. It's like a lifetime of you thinking, my mom doesn't care about what I'm doing. My mom not only doesn't care, but hates what I'm doing. Actively can't stand something that I'm doing. And beyond that, like, has told me, that she actively doesn't give a fuck about what I'm doing. To go from that to, and especially what you went through with losing your father, who was obviously a huge supporter of yours and just like really loved and believed in what you're doing and believed in you and just in general, to have her revert and be like, and be supportive, even in just that tiny way of just even subscribing. That's fucking
it's huge to me. Like
it is huge.
A year ago, we were doing our 3,000 follower giveaway on Instagram.
Yeah.
When we hit 3,000 this time last year, I was like, okay, by this time next year, I would love to be at 4,000. If we could gain 1,000 followers in a year, I would be thrilled. Like that would be more than enough for me.
Yeah.
I know, I know what we're doing. I know our path. I know our goal. So like, I never doubted that we'd be able to do what we wanted to do, and I don't want to say be successful in doing it, but I've always known that we would at least make the animals we want to make, and
Yeah.
at least in our eyes, Nick and I be successful because we've made the animals that we were aiming to make, and you know what I mean, like just sort of put it
You
out
hit your
there and all
goal.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You hit your
And
goal. You ticked the boxes that you wanted to tick, and yeah.
before we hit the 1 year anniversary of our 3K giveaway announcement, we were at 7,000 followers on Instagram. Like
It's that fast.
I can't even do the math. Like it was phenomenal.
No.
That's like a follower every, I think, 4 or 6 minutes. No, 16 minutes. I think I did the math a while ago. And it just fucking blew us both away. Like I can't tell you, and I don't get to talk about this enough, but I can't tell you how thankful both of us are for the support that we've gained, and I like neither of us even understand it realistically. And like I know people have been like, "Oh, well, you're doing great," and blah blah blah. Like I get that part of it, but like neither of us really get it yet. You know what I mean? Like it's still sort of settling in.
Hasn't hit you. Hasn't hit
Yeah, and I don't think either of us feel it's deserved yet. But
you. It is, man.
neither of us, Nick or I, and I know Nick isn't on camera a lot, and I know he's not here right now.
Yeah.
But neither of us could be more appreciative. Like it's been amazing, and to have this kind of support, especially when we're doing something like we're doing, and taking the risks like we're taking in terms of like genes and why did my brain just stop working right now? Investments. That's the word I was looking for.
You're good, man.
No, it's been unbelievable. Like we've been so humbled by
I know.
how
That's why,
amazing it's
like
been.
I said, I think that's why, again, just and it's not the only reason. You and I, man, we're on the same page. I think that's why I use the term fast friends a lot, because there's a lot of people that I've in this hobby, especially, that I've kind of become quote unquote fast friends with. But the more that you and I talk, the more that I realize why that is. You know, we've had some similar life experiences. We've got similar tastes in a lot of things. Like we both love tattoos. We both love fucking, like anime and
Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball. Even most people don't even. I feel like a lot of people that have watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z haven't even watched Dragon Ball. Like I've literally watched every episode of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z from start to finish.
It was really funny because when I was growing up, and I'm just going off on a Dragon Ball tangent right now.
No, we're going to. I said it in the description. We're going to talk about literally like anything and everything. That's this podcast. Do it.
So there's a channel here in Ontario, which is our version of a state. It's the province I live in, called YTV, and basically it's youth TV. It's not kids TV. It's not adult television, but it's like for the in between. I want to say it's like 8 to 14, right?
Yeah.
And they would always have Dragon Ball on. But this is back when Dragon Ball Z was still dubbing episodes, like back in the early 90s. So basically what they would do is they would start from Dragon Ball and play everything all the way through. And they would play up to the most recent dub. Right?
Yes.
And then they would take about a month and they would start again and go from Dragon Ball all the way up to what was the most recent dub at that time, which is probably like 2 years later at that point, right?
Yeah.
And they would do that. And that was the only way I could catch up on Dragon Ball Z. So I've watched those episodes probably 100 times. Like, it's ridiculous how much I love that show. I was literally watching the English dub of Dragon Ball Super before I came on here.
That's amazing.
And you saw my Imagine tattoo, so
I did. I commented on it today because I was like,
I know you did.
You had that because, like I said, I know you've got a ton of tattoos, which I love. I only recently, within the last within the last year, basically started getting tattooed heavily, and I got basically half my arm covered up in 2 sessions, like two
Nice.
11-hour sessions.
Dude,
To the point
I'm covered. Like they're
Yeah.
fucking everywhere.
yeah,
Um,
which I love.
I love
I
it.
love that because
I love
I
it.
would have gotten it done earlier in my life. It was just not having the money, and I'm like you probably are, like, and I can tell, like particularly about the artist, And I literally waited 15 years. I waited 15 years to finally get tattooed by the artist that I'm working with now.
It's funny that you say that because based on my personality type, I should be. And like, oh no, this arm. Like with my one arm, I'm very, very happy. Oh, it's not even going to show. Yeah, I can't even show it
But
here.
but here's anybody that knows tattoos though, for it to stand off that well on camera, just at least from what I'm looking at, it's really great work because it
Yeah,
wouldn't
it
stand off
is.
that well on. Yeah,
But the problem is, I started when I was 16, and I have a lot of tattoos that don't look that great. Like my
yeah,
entire other arm, like just
yeah.
just
Just like
bad all around. Like,
scratch work. Yeah, and
so,
that's okay too, man. That's okay.
yeah,
That's not that stories. That's what I mean. It's got a different
I've
meaning,
worked on
different
slowly
appreciation.
getting it fixed up. Um,
Yeah,
but right now, my main goal is getting out of debt.
me too.
If in 2021 I can break half of uh, half of the debt that I've acquired, plus pay for my food bill for the animals, I'll
Yeah,
consider 2021 a success for us breeding wise.
me
And
too.
if I don't do that, I will have done something wrong because with the
Yeah,
way we've set ourselves up.
yeah. With the animals you have and everything you got going on, man. Like, yeah,
So
if you
this is
plan it
gonna
right,
be
you'll be fine.
this is gonna be breaking news because I haven't actually posted or announced this yet.
I'm
But I have a
excited.
girl right now, red axanthic, so a super het red axanthic, het pied, that was bred to a orange stream, yellow belly, Enchi pied male maker. So everything will be het red axanthic, het pied minimum,
Yeah.
plus banana, Enchi, ODYB, het pied.
ODYB. For anybody listening after, there's two different genes.
Orange
Both work
Dream,
amazingly
Yellow
well
Belly, yes.
together. Yeah. Orange Dream, Yellow Belly.
But
That's insane.
on top of that, anything non-banana is a female. So I can hit
Right.
HRA, ODYB, and pieds.
Right, which is a huge bonus. A huge bonus. People get so upset about the banana sex link complex.
No,
I think it's great.
Use it to your advantage. This is the thing about it. It can be used as a plus. It's amazing.
Right.
That's why we bought that animal.
Right. You're taking the odds, right? You're taking the odds because odds are a nightmare already, but you're taking the odds and you're narrowing them down. It's like, oh, wait, it's a male maker? Okay, fucking amazing. I want females that don't have bananas.
Yeah, exactly.
I think about
I'm very happy you think that way.
I tell people all this all the time. I'm big on contrarian investing, which is like the thought process of the market says this is a bad thing. I see it as an opportunity. It's contrarian investing. It's a contrarian thought process towards shit. And I think you're 1,000% on the right track with that.
And that's the thing. Doesn't get talked about enough. So if you have a female maker, female maker male banana, you have a 50% chance of hitting females and a 50% chance of hitting males, right?
And the reality is you also have like an 85% chance of hitting all fucking males, and you're screwed. At least if they're visual bananas, even if they're males, they will sell because it's banana. And you can sell them as beautiful pets.
Move. Yep.
But nobody thinks about it that way.
For what we bought, which is a banana ODYB Enchi pied, if we hit a banana Enchi HRA pied or a banana ODYB het pied, do you think that's going to sit in our rack? No. People will be knocking down the door to pick that animal up because they're amazing, right? So if you can use the male maker in your like to your advantage,
Yeah.
do it. It's unbelievable. So I'm
It goes
using him
back to
right
what we
now
were
to
talking about with
3 different
the male.
females. What's that?
Go ahead. Sorry. No, I was just
No, I
saying
didn't hear
it
you.
goes back to what we were talking about with the male that I'm like debating on buying. It's you have to think through what are you going to use it for, and what it's going to do for you personally. And that's why I always love, because it always comes up on anytime that any big breeder puts out questionnaires, like people ask Billy all the time, like, if you were just getting in the hobby, what would you breed this to, things like that nature, which is a perfectly reasonable question, but
I
it's
hate
gonna
that question though.
I do too, only because you can't ever tell somebody what they should do, because you don't necessarily know what their collection is all about. You just
So
have
if
to
somebody
plan
if
it.
somebody if somebody was like, "Hey, I have a banana orange dream yellow belly entropy, like we have the male. What female would you breed it to?" My
Anything.
first, my fifth, my 10th, my 20th answer probably would not be a red axanthic hepide female. But because of how my collection worked out, that's a phenomenal pairing. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's the best possible pairing for it. I could think
No,
of
but
a
that's not
thousand
the
other.
aim. Right.
I could think of a thousand other pairings that would give you guaranteed really cool
Yes.
animals.
Yes.
But with what I have, I can guarantee
Right.
you there's at least going to be some cool shit in there. Like,
Yeah. And that's what I came down to, man. Like I said, when I was asking other people, and I further, because there's some people that gave me answers or in the comments. I'm not. I don't, because I always hate when people ask for advice and then they go against that advice, right? Because it's like, well, why did you ask me to begin with? But there's people in the comments. They gave me some advice in terms of what I was going to do in terms of purchasing that mail that I was talking about, and they told me not to do it. And pretty much across the board, everyone that I asked told me not to do it. It's not worth doing. But I think that the perspective is different when obviously I know everything that I have in my racks and I know everything I'm going to use for that. And so at the end of the day, we can all only judge for ourselves. But yeah, I mean, be smart, and talk to as many people as you possibly can. And I would also say, be careful not to just keep asking people until you get the answer you want, because if you ask 20 people and they tell you not to do something, and only one person tells you that it's okay, well, maybe think twice about that. But I'm starting to feel
that. Oh,
confident in myself to make that call. Yeah,
I lost my headphone.
all good.
That's a good point, but at the same time,
Yeah.
I would also say
Sometimes.
don't hang yourself up on what other people are doing.
Exactly. And that goes back to exactly what you said from the very get-go. Breed what you like, because realistically, if I had asked everybody when I was building my collection, like, oh, what should I get into? Guess what? I would have had a collection that looks like everybody else's collection out there right now. And I wouldn't have a fire yellow belly spot nose head ultramel in my rack right now. I wouldn't have her. Because guess what? That female that I have, she wasn't even listed on Morph Market. She was never listed anywhere. I only have her because I reached out to Justin at one point and asked him, hey, what are you doing with Ultramel? Keep me posted on anything that's interesting. So I picked up that animal without it ever even being listed for sale. And the only reason I even got that, and that snake is so fucking crazy.
What do you think this is?
Does that have GHI in it? Because it's
Yep.
super. It's definitely, I was gonna say it's super dark. So is it a GHI leopard something?
You got it.
What is it?
Double het. What?
Oh hell. Based on what I know about you, Clown Pied.
You got it. So, female leopard GHI double het clown pied.
Have a good one, Tom. Yeah, that's amazing. And that's another one I don't have. I don't have any GHI yet, but I would love to see like a Mojave, GHI Mojave Ultra.
So that's an animal that I would have never had I just waited for Morph Market to tell me what's available.
Yeah, right.
This was for me reaching out because I
Hmm?
needed GHI my clown pie projects, and just by
Yes.
some dumb luck, there was some leopard in there too.
Yep, which is amazing.
Yeah, no,
I mean, absolutely amazing. Those babies are going to be nuts when she's up to size. That's
I
a
can't
killer
explain
female
to you how excited I am to have that snake.
Yeah. Yep.
But we needed GHR in our double het clown pied stuff, and we knew we weren't in a position to make anything worthwhile. I don't have a visual
Right.
clown pied. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
heard. We've mentioned it a couple times on a couple lives and a couple videos, but I don't know if you've heard. But our goal is to make our first clown pied. We won't buy one.
Yeah.
I have clown het pieds from Cusco.
You know who else I was gonna say, I don't even think Cusco does. Cusco have a visual clown pied? I don't think he does.
Female. It's. I think her name's Queenie. She's the one that made these.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So he has, so he has one, but that's it.
Yeah,
Which is
no.
crazy.
This year is the year he's gonna make visuals. I've talked to him about it a lot because I told him, if we make one before he makes some females, we want to buy them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But totally lost my train of thought. Oh. We have no interest in buying a clown pied. However, I will happily buy the ingredients to a crazy ass clown pie down the line. Like,
for sure.
Cusco sent me 2 pastel clown het pieds and a pastel Enchi clown het pied. I would love to use them for clown pieds. But realistically, I'll use one to the Confusion Leopard Yellow Belly Pastel het pied. I'll use one to the ODYB Banana Enchi pied. And I'll probably use one to the... if I have a Yellow Belly Dreamsicle, it'll probably go to that. So, as much as I'd love to make a clown pied, we also have 1,000 other projects that we can put it in.
Well, and that's the thing that I think is exciting about guys like yourself is like just you have so much going on, man. That literally, like, I don't think that there's anything that you have in your racks where it's like, well, this isn't really going to be a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, literally, you have so many options, and all of them are amazing, which is good and bad. I think, right?
It's funny because I still had some animals left over from like when we first got in, and I've been like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I was like, oh, I should sell them. Like they're like proven breeder females that probably don't hit up to snuff. I was like, oh, I should probably sell them. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, like, at the end of the day, do I need $200, $300, $500, $600 that badly? I know a lot of people getting into this hobby. A lot of people that have only had a clutch or no clutches or 2 clutches. So usually what I do is reach out and just say, hey, listen, does anybody have use for one of these females?
Right.
Be it a fire.
I've been debating on that. I'm really glad this came up because I was going to ask you this question anyway. So continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
You reached out to people asking if they need these females.
Exactly. And you go, listen, take it, house it, do what you need with it, breed it. Give me 1 female back. That's all I ask. 1 female. Whether that's to sell, whether that's whatever. Take it.
Yeah.
Don't give me any money for it now. Get yourself a clutch. Get yourself some cool animals. Give me a female. And you know what? If you only have 1 female, fuck it. Give me a male. Like, if you get fucked,
like whatever.
Like, it happens. I'm not expecting anything guaranteed, but I go, listen, I could easily get $200-$300 if I posted this on Kijiji, which is our Craigslist. Yep. But I don't want this animal to go to a random. I'd rather this go to somebody that I care for, that I support, that I want to see do well.
And somebody's collection you're familiar with. I would rather you
just come,
kind of know what they got going on. Yeah.
So I do that a lot. I do that with a lot of my friends that are in this hobby.
Yeah, I think that's super smart. And that's something I've debated on myself. So, kind of segueing into it, the other question that I wanted to ask you, and again, I'm asking selfish questions, but questions I think that are important to anybody that's in my position or even earlier in the hobby. So I reached a point now where I've got a bunch of single gene females or maybe 2 gene females that are up almost up to size or up to size, right? And I'm like, I don't even know what to do with them. Like I have a single gene leopard female who I literally bought as a baby, and I've raised her up for the last 3 years just because I loved leopard. She was literally the first leopard I ever bought, but I knew I knew very early on, I want leopard in my collection. So no matter what I do, I want her. And I agree. I think on the leopard, I'm not going to get rid of her. I have zero interest in getting rid of her. But like, I've also got, for example, I have a single gene calico female, or excuse me, I have a pastel calico female. What I ended up doing with her, because my initial intent was to breed ultramels, and make hets like calico. Because I've never seen them before. We lost Chris. I guess I'll wait until Chris comes back in here for a second, but I guess I'll kind of give you guys a rundown on pairings that I've got going on just while we've got some moments here. So that pastel calico female that I have, I ended up breeding her to a male Inchi that I have, who was another male that I felt like for me personally was a little bit of a mistake to have picked up for a while there until I started seeing all of this Inchi calico stuff coming out, like, super OD Inchi calicos and stuff like, all the campfire stuff that's coming out. There's a lot of potential there. And to me, it was a little bit validating because, calico, a lot of people, I feel like kind of discredited a little bit, like, like the calico and the sugar stuff is super, super nice. All right. Chris is back.
I don't know what keeps happening. My phone keeps dying.
All good, man.
Thanks, guys. I
all
should
good, brother.
probably end this shortly just so this doesn't keep happening.
I was gonna say we'll just go for another few minutes, and we've already been going for over 2 hours. So
let's touch back on what you were saying before. So there are definitely animals that you should hold on to. I do have a couple single gene animals that I held on to. From the beginning, and honestly, sometimes what you think will be nothing turns out very unexpected. I had one of my females. Do you remember when I was talking earlier about how I had that spider female and that fire female that I had held even after I got out of the hobby?
Yep. And I started to bring it up then, but I was like, let's just roll. Yeah.
Bring it back around. We're going way back to the beginning of this conversation. So that fire female had never laid for me before. I had her for over 10 years.
Wow.
She laid for me this year.
Wow.
She laid for me this year to my yellow-bellied pied het lavender.
That's insane. Wow.
Fire yellow-bellied.
And that's what
het pied plus het lavender.
That's gorgeous. Look at that pattern.
Nuts. Like,
look at that pattern, that ringer.
Discount your single gene females, dude. Like,
yeah. And that's just it. That's why I haven't gone back on it, because I've heard that time and time and time again from everybody that's big in the hobby. They're like, do not get rid of your single gene or your simple combo females. Just don't do it. And especially because, again, they're young, they haven't even produced yet, and so I don't know. Like there might be a single gene female in my rack right now that's going to give me 11 eggs every year for the next 10 years. I just don't know yet.
100%. No,
because I've already put the money in.
And that's the thing. Once you put the time and the money in, at least get something from them. And
sure,
if you've invested all that into them, I would suggest keeping them local to you. And what I mean by that is, with your friends or whatever, right? So I have a bunch of females out to close friends of mine that I'm just like, hey, listen, hit a clutch, do great, get the 10, 12 eggs that female gives. Just don't forget about me. Like, I don't care about the $200, $500, $600 that female could bring me. I want to see what's for you. That's what I want to see.
Yes. And that's where I'm at, man. Because I'm like, if I sold off, like, there's probably 3 animals in my rack that I might think about selling. I'm like, it'd be less than $1,000. Like, is that really worth? Like you said, I've invested 3 years plus in these animals. That sounds absolutely stupid. When you really think it through, I'm like, no, that's dumb, and that's why I haven't done it yet. And that's why I realistically said it's something that keeps popping into my head because I'm like, and it's mostly just because of space. Because right now I'm maxed out on space, but I need to just spend $300 and get another little PVC rack that can just expand me out a little bit more. and I'll probably feel a little better, because I'm at 17, well, 23, excuse me, with all the new babies, 23 animals now, and
Nice.
it's just yeah, it's a lot, but
yeah, man. No, you grow into it, right? Like
yeah,
last
for
year.
sure, because it's becoming more normal.
Last year I had 5 to 12 babies at any given time. Kept 1 or 2 back here, sold a couple there. Right now, I'm at the end of my season. I have no babies, and I have an entire 40 bin rack full still. And this is
Yeah.
after everything I've sold so far. So
Yeah,
you take your time, you grow into it. But
yeah,
man. You know what? Like I think we should probably wrap it up here.
I was gonna say,
probably spend some time with the wife, and then my
no, that's perfect, man. No, this I think
my
there's a
obvious
perfect segue
technical
into
problems are
something
not helping.
It's okay, because my AirPod just gave me an indication that they're dying too, and so my stuff's gonna start to echo soon. So, no, this has been absolutely great, man. Like, selfishly, I have absolutely gained a ton of knowledge from you, and I think the upside of that is that the questions that I have tend to be the same stuff that I seem to see ringing throughout the hobby. I hope I didn't over talk too much. I hope
Not
that
at all.
I hope that people will take the time to watch this. I know that it's a long one, but genuinely, man, there is so much great information. You're a wealth of knowledge, and I feel like I could keep talking to you for another 5 hours, and we still wouldn't come to the end of just everything that you and I can talk about. We share a lot of things, in common, and I just can't thank you enough. In all seriousness, this has been an absolute pleasure. I said it in the comments earlier. This has been one of my favorite things I've done in a long time. You're an absolute joy.
Well, I'm honestly like honored that you'd even want me on, but I would be beyond happy to come back when obviously Brad's here, and like whether that be tomorrow or 6 months from now. Like, dude, just ask. I'll be here. I'm more than happy to.
For sure.
I had a shit ton of fun. Hopefully this time I can figure out whatever's wrong with my damn phone so we don't have all these problems. Because I've never had this happen before, but no, honestly, man, if you ever have somebody cancel on you or like you just want to shoot the shit, just ask. I'll happily be.
Well, and
a ton of fun.
And I'll tell you again, shameless plug, Chris. I'll probably have you on at some point on my personal channel, just because again, I feel like, you and I have. I think again, we were fast friends. I said it before. We got a lot in common. We're on the same page about a lot of things, man. And even beyond doing this live stuff, I'd love to just like you and I can connect. On a personal level off social. Because I feel like there's a lot we can kind of bounce off each other and we can benefit from each other on. So we'll definitely do that. But love you, man. I mean, and I mean that in all seriousness. People talk shit to me all the time about telling people I love them, but I really do. I just got a lot of love for you, and I got a love for this hobby, and I'm so fucking glad to have people like you to share this time with. Share all this, these experiences with, get advice from, and just everything, man. You are a guiding light for a lot of people in this hobby. For anybody that's not in Chris's Discord, Chris's Instagram, Chris's Facebook, Chris's YouTube, he's doing so much for this hobby, and it's so valuable. I cannot even begin to fucking tell you. So if you lasted this long on this fucking stream, through the ups and the downs, the damn dropped video. This is going to be split between a couple, this and the other. Chris is a good fucking dude. And he's more valuable than he even realizes himself. And so I would encourage you to check him out. So
realistically, like I said, at the very beginning, the very top of this, back in the other video that isn't even linked to this video, dude, I just love to talk snakes. If you feel weird or awkward about talking to somebody that you think is, screw all that shit. Just message me. Instagram, Discord, Facebook. I don't care. I'll talk snakes with everybody and anybody. I love this hobby. It's all like I breathe, sleep, eat. Like this is what I do. Hit me up. Like message me.
I'll have all Chris's stuff in the description of this video, along with mine and Bradley's, and he and I are both the same way. Like if anybody's got questions, you want to reach out to somebody, just feel free. But Chris is definitely more of an expert than I am in terms of ball python stuff. But again, thank you guys, everyone that's been live in the chat tonight. I apologize for not shouting everybody out individually, but in all seriousness, I've been so in depth in this conversation with Chris. I've just, honestly, it's been hard for me to get back to everybody. So thank you all again. I love you guys. If anybody wants to reach out after this, please do. I would love to hear some feedback. But Chris, thanks again, man, for your time. You've been absolutely wonderful. You've given me way more time than what you should have. So have a great night, man. Be safe up there in Canada. I know it's the winter months, so you guys are getting a lot of snow and this, that, and the other. So have a good one, man. Stay safe. Take care of yourself.
Next time we'll go even longer. I promise.
Oh, we will. I mean, if anybody wants to see like a 6-hour stream with Chris and I, we'll do it. So, all right, I'm going to close it out on that. Love you guys. Later, brother.
See you, man. Bye.